Welcome, brave souls, to another spine-chilling episode of our haunted storytelling journey. Tonight, we venture into the heart of New York City, where amidst the hustle and bustle lies a green oasis known as Central Park. But beneath its serene beauty and tranquil paths, there lurks a darker side, whispered about in hushed tones by locals and visitors alike. Prepare yourselves as we delve into the eerie tales and ghostly legends that haunt the very grounds of Central Park. The Ramble, tucked within the heart of Central Park, has long been celebrated for its natural beauty and intricate design. Conceived as a wooded retreat from the bustling city, it was intended to replicate a wild forest, complete with winding paths, rocky outcrops, and dense foliage. Visitors often come seeking a quiet escape, a place to stroll, observe wildlife, or simply lose themselves in the illusion of nature within the city. Yet for all its charm, the Ramble has earned a reputation darker than its serene exterior suggests. Over the years, numerous reports have emerged of strange occurrences, giving the area a mystique that borders on the supernatural. Locals and visitors alike have dubbed it a place of whispers, shadows, and inexplicable chills, a haven for the unknown. Those who frequent the Ramble often recount experiences that defy rational explanation. Many describe the sensation of being watched, as though invisible eyes follow their every step. Walkers report hearing the unmistakable sound of footsteps behind them, echoing across the uneven paths. Yet when they turn, the way is empty. Even on warm, sunny days, sudden drops in temperature have been noted, accompanied by goosebumps and shivers. Some attribute these sensations to drafts or the microclimate created by the dense trees, but countless others insist that what they feel cannot be explained by science alone. Perhaps the most unsettling of these phenomena are the fleeting shadows that dart between the trees. Observers often catch glimpses of dark figures moving swiftly across the paths or behind the thick undergrowth. These shapes vanish the instant one tries to focus on them, leaving only an eerie silence in their wake. Descriptions vary. Some see humanoid silhouettes, others claim to have glimpsed the outline of animals that seem to disappear into thin air. Regardless of form, the impression is consistent: a fleeting presence that is aware of the living yet remains untouchable. The history of the Ramble adds an extra layer of unease to these encounters. Since the 19th century, the area has been a place of secrecy, where city dwellers could retreat from the public eye. Over time, the secluded paths became settings for clandestine meetings, some romantic, others more sinister. Urban legends speak of crimes committed in the shadowed groves, of lovers who disappeared without trace, and of tragic accidents that went unnoticed. While historical records are often incomplete or unverified, the tales have persisted, fueling speculation that the area retains the energy of past events, a residual echo of lives once lived within its confines. Visitors have reported more than just visual or tactile anomalies. Some hear whispers carried on the wind, voices so faint they could be mistaken for rustling leaves. The content of these whispers is elusive, a mixture of words and sighs that never coalesce into coherent sentences. Those attuned to the sound often describe it as both beckoning and warning, a lure to wander deeper into the Ramble's labyrinthine paths. The phenomenon is particularly pronounced near rocky clearings or under thick canopies, where the density of trees seems to amplify the auditory illusion. One of the recurring themes in these accounts is disorientation. The Ramble's winding paths are intentionally designed to confuse and delight. But many who report encounters with the supernatural describe losing not only their sense of direction, but their sense of time. A brief walk can stretch into an hour or more, the forest seeming to expand and contract around the observer. Those who attempt to retrace their steps often find familiar landmarks shifted, rocks or tree trunks appearing in different positions. This temporal distortion has led some to suggest that the Ramble functions as a liminal space, a threshold between the ordinary world and the supernatural. Not all experiences are entirely frightening. Some carry a sense of melancholy or longing. Witnesses occasionally describe feeling an emotional weight, an overwhelming sadness or nostalgia that seems to seep from the very soil and leaves. Others have reported a sudden, inexplicable calm, as if the shadows themselves are guiding the living, rather than threatening them. This duality, fear and comfort, intertwined, makes the Ramble a uniquely haunted location. One where the boundary between life and lingering presence is delicate and uncertain. Paranormal investigators who have explored the area note that conventional explanations often fall short. Thermal cameras sometimes detect inexplicable cold spots, while audio equipment occasionally picks up faint, unidentifiable murmurs. Photographs taken along the paths can reveal anomalies, shadows, blurs, or faint figures that vanish when viewed in real time. While skeptics attribute these phenomena to lighting, natural movement, or psychological suggestion, the consistency of reports over decades suggests that there is something more to the Ramble than meets the eye. Local lore has given names to some of these experiences. The whispering shadows are said to be the spirits of individuals who either perished or met life-altering events within the park. Some claim they are echoes of lovers who never found peace, while others suggest they are guardians, keeping watch over the park's hidden corners. Regardless of interpretation, the presence of the whispers and shadows continues to affect those who venture into the area, reminding them that the Ramble is more than just a scenic escape. For modern visitors, the Ramble offers both beauty and mystery. Those who wander its paths may experience the thrill of solitude, the peace of nature, and the palpable sense of history. Yet, there is always the possibility of encountering the unseen, of feeling the eyes of the whispering shadows upon them, and hearing the soft footsteps and sighs that seem to come from nowhere. The dense foliage, the winding trails, and the intentional design that encourages exploration all contribute to a haunting that is subtle yet persistent, a testament to the enduring power of Central Park's hidden corners. In the end, the Ramble serves as a reminder that even in the midst of a bustling metropolis, spaces exist where the ordinary and the extraordinary intersect. Visitors who tread its paths may come for a quiet walk, but some leave with a story, a lingering chill, or the unshakable feeling that the shadows are alive and watching. The whispering shadows of the Ramble remain a testament to the park's rich history, its secrets, and its capacity to host mysteries that have yet to be fully explained. The story of the Victorian sisters is one of Central Park's most haunting legends, a tale that has been whispered through generations and has become an integral part of the park's eerie history. In the late 1800s, the park was a popular retreat for city dwellers seeking leisure and recreation. During the winter months, its ponds would freeze over, drawing crowds who came to ice skate and enjoy the crisp air. Among these winter visitors were two sisters, young women whose beauty and grace were said to rival the elegance of the park itself. Their skill on the ice was unmatched. They moved with a fluidity that made skating appear effortless, captivating all who watched them twirl and glide across the frozen surfaces. The sisters were known not only for their skating talent, but also for their gentle, cheerful personalities. They were often accompanied by friends or family, yet many evenings, they could be seen skating alone, lost in the rhythm of their movements. Locals began to look forward to seeing them during the colder months, and their presence became a beloved fixture in the life of the park. People would gather on the banks of the ponds, enjoying the sight of the sisters tracing elegant arcs across the ice, their laughter carrying softly over the frozen waters. But that idyllic scene took a tragic turn one fateful evening. A sudden thaw had weakened part of the pond's ice, though it appeared solid underfoot. As the sisters skated near the center, the ice gave way without warning. Screams echoed across the frozen landscape as the girls plunged into the frigid water below. Bystanders rushed to help, but the icy water claimed both sisters before anyone could reach them. Attempts to rescue them failed, and by the time the authorities arrived, it was too late. The city mourned the loss, and the once joyful ice rinks were shadowed by the sorrow of the tragedy. The sisters' deaths left a deep impression on all who had known them, and their story became a cautionary tale for those who ventured onto the ice. Yet, the sisters' story did not end with their untimely deaths. Over the years, numerous accounts have emerged from park visitors who claim to have seen two figures gliding across the ice during winter nights. These apparitions are described as eerily beautiful, moving with the same grace and precision the sisters displayed in life. Some witnesses say the figures are semi-transparent, almost luminous against the dark backdrop of the frozen pond, their movements fluid and otherworldly. Others insist that the sisters' faces can be seen, pale yet serene, with expressions that convey both sadness and a gentle longing. Many accounts share a common detail: the sound of skates cutting through the ice. People walking near the ponds have described hearing the faint, rhythmic scraping of blades, even when no one is present. It is a delicate, almost musical sound that seems to echo across the frozen surface, accompanied by whispers that carry on the wind. These whispers are said to be soft, almost imperceptible, like the laughter or gentle conversations of the sisters as they once skated. Some visitors have reported a chill that runs down their spine, a sudden drop in temperature that seems to coincide with the appearance of the ghostly figures. The combination of visual and auditory phenomena has convinced many that the sisters' spirits remain tied to the park, reliving their passion for skating even in death. The legend of the Victorian sisters has become a point of fascination not only for local residents, but also for paranormal enthusiasts and historians. Photographers who attempt to capture the winter scenery have occasionally claimed to find unexplained blurs or faint figures in their images, resembling two young women on the ice. Some historians suggest that these occurrences are remnants of the emotional energy left by the sisters' untimely deaths, a residual haunting preserved in the very environment of the park. Others interpret the sightings as spirits who cannot rest, bound to the place where they spent some of their happiest moments. Over time, the story of the sisters has been retold in countless ways, each account adding layers to the legend. Some versions suggest that the sisters appear only to those who carry a sense of reverence or sorrow, while others claim that the apparitions can be seen by anyone willing to venture out onto the frozen ponds on the coldest, quietest nights. Witnesses often describe a sense of awe mixed with melancholy, a recognition of the beauty and tragedy of lives cut short. The sisters' presence is said to be gentle rather than malevolent. They glide across the ice, silent and graceful, as if inviting the living to share a fleeting moment of their frozen eternity. Even today, visitors to Central Park's frozen ponds approach with a mixture of caution and curiosity. Some skate with the hope of glimpsing the ghostly figures, while others stand quietly on the banks, listening for the faint whispers and the delicate scrape of phantom skates. The legend serves as a reminder of the fragility of life and the lingering power of memory and emotion. For those who have experienced the sisters' presence, the encounter is unforgettable, leaving an indelible mark on their perception of the park. The Victorian sisters' story endures because it combines beauty, tragedy, and mystery. It captures the imagination, blending the tangible history of Central Park with the ethereal qualities of a haunting. The ice that once supported their joyous skating now holds their memory, and their graceful figures continue to glide through the winter nights, a poignant testament to lives that touch the hearts of many and a haunting that transcends time. Central Park has long been a place of recreation and reflection, drawing thousands of visitors each day to its winding paths, tranquil ponds, and shaded groves. Among the many who traverse its trails, joggers have always been a familiar sight, their rhythmic footsteps echoing through the park from dawn until dusk. Yet, beneath the beauty and vitality of the park lies a shadowed history that continues to haunt its paths. Among these shadows is the story of the Phantom Jogger, a chilling legend born from a tragic and violent event that left an indelible mark on the park and its visitors. In 1989, Central Park was thrust into the national spotlight due to a horrific attack that occurred on one of its jogging trails. A young woman, exercising alone in the early evening, was brutally assaulted in a secluded area. Though she survived the attack, the incident shocked the city, leaving both residents and visitors with a lingering sense of fear. The case became infamous, a grim reminder of the vulnerability that can exist even in the most seemingly safe urban sanctuaries. Over time, the area where the attack occurred became more than just a site of criminal investigation. It became associated with unease and the unexplainable, forming the foundation for the legend of the Phantom Jogger. Since that tragic night, Numerous joggers and parkgoers have reported unsettling experiences along the park's trails. Many describe the sensation of being followed, a quiet but persistent presence that seems to mirror their pace. Some say they feel a sudden weight on their shoulders or a subtle shift in the air, as if someone were running just behind them. Yet every time they glance over their shoulder, the path is empty. Others recount more direct encounters. A shadowy figure in running attire appears, a faint silhouette moving along the trail in perfect rhythm, keeping pace without sound. When the observer stops or quickens their pace, the figure adapts, maintaining a silent, eerie synchronization before vanishing when attention is drawn. The reports are consistent enough to suggest that the phenomenon is not merely a matter of imagination. Many witnesses describe similar characteristics of the apparition: tall and slender, wearing standard jogging clothes, often with a hood or cap obscuring their face, moving with an unnatural, almost gliding quality that differs from ordinary human motion. The figure is rarely seen in detail. It is fleeting, always on the periphery, leaving a sense of unease rather than direct terror. Witnesses describe heart-pounding moments where the phantom seems almost sentient, aware of the living and deliberately evading direct contact, a shadow tethered to memory and trauma. Psychologists and paranormal researchers alike have speculated on the origin of the phantom jogger. Some argue that it is a manifestation of collective trauma, a residual haunting tied to the park itself, particularly in areas where fear and sorrow have been intense. Others suggest it could be a spectral echo of the victim's terror, an imprint of the traumatic energy left behind during that fateful evening. Certain theories propose that the figure represents an entity that has assumed the energy of the park, responding to joggers as a means of reliving the moment or warning them of unseen dangers. Many encounters with the phantom jogger are accompanied by physical sensations, adding to the chilling nature of the reports. Joggers describe a sudden drop in temperature, the feeling of breath on the back of their necks, or the inexplicable rustling of leaves and twigs without wind or movement nearby. Some claim that the sound of invisible footsteps occasionally echoes the cadence of their own, creating the unnerving impression that the park itself is alive and aware. These experiences are rarely long in duration, often lasting only moments, but they leave a lasting psychological imprint on those who experience them. The legend has grown over the decades, with park visitors sharing stories that have cemented the phantom jogger as one of Central Park's most chilling mysteries. Despite the passage of time, the trails near the locations of past encounters continue to inspire caution. Joggers often warn each other of certain paths, not simply out of fear of crime, but because of the strange, lingering presence that has been reported for years. Nighttime jogs, in particular, are considered risky not only due to the darkness, but also because the apparition seems more active during the quiet hours, when the park is nearly deserted. Some skeptics attempt to dismiss the phenomenon as a combination of imagination, fear, and urban legend. They argue that joggers' minds, primed by stories and the knowledge of past tragedies, might interpret natural shadows, moving trees, or fellow runners as something supernatural. While this explanation may account for some reports, it cannot fully explain the recurring similarities across decades and the consistent descriptions of the figure's unusual movements and timing. The legend persists because it resonates on a psychological and emotional level, tapping into primal fears of being followed, of encountering the unknown, and of confronting the lingering effects of tragedy. For those who have encountered the phantom jogger, the experience is unforgettable. It is not merely a tale of fear, but one of remembrance, connecting the present-day park to its dark and troubled history. Some view the apparition as a guardian, silently urging runners to respect the park and its shadows, while others feel it is a lingering specter of sorrow, forever linked to a moment of horror that should never be forgotten. Today, the phantom jogger has become a fixture in the lore of Central Park. It reminds visitors that even in a place of beauty and recreation, the echoes of past trauma can linger, manifesting in ways that challenge understanding. The Jogger's Trail is no longer just a path for exercise. It's a corridor between the living and the spectral, a haunting that continues to pace alongside the footsteps of those who dare to run after dark. Belvedere Castle stands as one of Central Park's most iconic landmarks. Its stone walls and turrets crowning Vista Rock and offering sweeping views of the surrounding park and the city beyond. Built in 1869 as a fanciful observatory, the castle was intended to blend architectural whimsy with practical function, allowing visitors to survey the landscape while enjoying a unique vantage point. By day, it is a popular destination for tourists, photographers, and locals alike, drawn to its romantic design and commanding perspectives. But beneath the grandeur and charm of Belvedere Castle lies a history tinged with tragedy and a presence that many claim cannot be explained by history alone. For decades, visitors have reported eerie experiences within its walls, experiences that have earned the castle a reputation as one of Central Park's most haunted sites. The legend begins with a figure who is said to haunt the castle to this day. A man dressed in period clothing, often described as a caretaker or observer from a bygone era. Witnesses report seeing him standing silently by the windows, gazing out over the park as if lost in thought. His attire simple yet indicative of the late 19th or early 20th century adds an air of authenticity to the apparition, suggesting that it is a spirit tied to the castle's past rather than a trick of the light. Those who encounter him often describe a profound sense of sadness radiating from his presence, as though he is trapped in a state between life and death, unable to leave the place he once tended so carefully. Perhaps the most common phenomenon reported at Belvedere Castle is the sound of footsteps, echoing through the stone halls when no one else is present. Visitors exploring the interior often describe hearing slow, deliberate steps on the wooden floors or stone stairs, sometimes accompanied by the creak of doors opening and closing. The sounds are distinctive and unnervingly realistic, leading some to pause mid-step, straining to detect another visitor nearby, only to find themselves alone. The footsteps are frequently reported at night or during off hours when the park is nearly empty, but there are accounts from daytime visitors as well, adding to the mystery. Those who have experienced it often speak of a mounting sense of unease, a feeling that someone or something is observing them from just beyond their field of vision. Local lore suggests that the castle's ghost is the spirit of a former caretaker who met a tragic end. According to the stories, he fell from one of the castle's towers during the late 19th century, though records of the exact incident are scarce and somewhat murky. Some versions claim it was an accident, a misstep along the narrow ledge of the observation tower. Others suggest it was a moment of despair, a personal tragedy that ended in his untimely death. Regardless of the circumstances, the narrative of the caretaker's fall has persisted, entwining his memory with the castle's stone walls and shadowed corners. Visitors often speculate that the spirit lingers out of attachment to the park, unable or unwilling to leave the vantage point he once cherished. Sightings are not limited to visual apparitions and sounds. Many visitors report a sudden drop in temperature when entering certain rooms or corners of the castle, a coldness that seems unnatural and localized. Others describe brief gusts of wind in enclosed spaces, or the sensation of being lightly touched on the shoulder or arm by an unseen presence. These occurrences, though fleeting, leave a lasting impression and contribute to the castle's reputation as a place where the ordinary rules of the physical world do not always apply. One recurring theme in these accounts is the ghost's apparent affinity for the windows and balconies. Witnesses consistently describe the figure standing silently, hands behind his back, looking out across the park. In some cases, the apparition is seen only briefly, a shadow in the corner of the eye or a reflection in a pane of glass, while in others the encounter feels more direct, as though the spirit is fully aware of the observer. The emotional weight of these sightings often strikes visitors immediately. Many report feelings of melancholy, reflection, or even guilt, as though the ghost is silently urging them to respect the space he once protected. Belvedere Castle's location atop Vista Rock enhances the sense of isolation and otherworldliness. The elevated position, surrounded by open parkland and dense trees, creates natural acoustics that can amplify sounds and produce echoes. lending a haunting resonance to footsteps and whispers. The castle's architecture, with narrow staircases, small chambers, and stone corridors, further contributes to the eerie atmosphere, making it easy to imagine a figure silently moving through the space, forever bound to the heights and views he once patrolled. Paranormal investigators who have visited the castle note that the phenomena are difficult to explain through conventional means. Audio equipment often picks up unaccounted for noises, while thermal imaging has occasionally detected cold spots that cannot be attributed to drafts or ventilation. Photographs sometimes reveal faint, ghostly shapes or silhouettes that vanish when viewed directly. Whether these occurrences are the result of lingering human energy, residual hauntings, or something more mysterious, they have cemented Belvedere Castle's status as a location of intrigue and fear. Visitors today approach the castle with a mix of curiosity and caution. Tourists still flock to its terraces for the views, unaware of the whispers of history that cling to the stone. Paranormal enthusiasts often explore at dusk or after hours, hoping to catch a glimpse of the caretaker or hear the footsteps for themselves. Even those who do not believe in ghosts cannot help but feel the weight of history, the sense that the castle has witnessed lives, tragedies, and emotions that refuse to be confined to the past. Belvedere Castle remains a place where history and legend intersect. The spirit of the caretaker, whether real or imagined, continues to watch over the park from his stone vantage point. A silent guardian or mournful presence that reminds visitors of the mysteries embedded in the heart of Central Park. The castle's haunting endures, inviting those who enter to ponder the unseen, to listen for the faint echo of footsteps, and to consider the stories that linger long after the city moves on. Conservatory Water, nestled at the southern end of Central Park, has long been a peaceful retreat for visitors seeking a quiet moment away from the bustling city. Often called the model boat pond, it is a place where children sail miniature boats, couples stroll along the banks, and morning joggers pause to take in the calm surface of the water. Its serene appearance, however, masks a darker, more mysterious side. On mist-laden mornings, when the pond seems to shimmer beneath a veil of fog, some visitors have reported seeing a figure that appears entirely out of place, a woman in a flowing white gown, standing silently at the water's edge. Witnesses describe the apparition with striking clarity. She is said to wear a long, almost ethereal gown that seems to ripple like water itself. Her hair, often described as dark and loose, frames a face pale and somber, with eyes fixed on the pond as if seeking something unattainable. There is an unnatural stillness to her presence. The air around her seems colder, heavier, and time itself feels altered when she appears. People approaching her report an almost magnetic pull, a sense that she is aware of their presence even before they see her. Yet, before any interaction can occur, she vanishes, dissolving into the fog or slipping into the mist rising off the pond's surface. The origins of the Lady in the Lake remain shrouded in uncertainty, and various theories attempt to explain her presence. Some local historians suggest that she may be the spirit of a woman who drowned in the pond many years ago. Accounts from the early 20th century tell of a young woman who, overcome by grief or despair, entered the water and never returned. Her disappearance was noted in newspapers at the time, but her body was never recovered, leaving behind a lingering mystery. Over time, the story evolved, blending with other local legends to give rise to the apparition that park-goers report today. Other explanations tie her to the more romanticized history of the park. Conservatory Water was a favorite location for lovers and promenaders in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Some believe the Lady in the Lake is a specter of a heartbroken woman, waiting eternally for a lover who never returned. Her gaze into the water, unwavering and solemn, is interpreted as a perpetual search for what was lost, a longing frozen in time. Witnesses often describe a feeling of sorrow radiating from her, a melancholic weight that hangs in the air even after she disappears. Those who have encountered her often report other phenomena accompanying the sighting. The morning mist seems thicker near her figure, and the sound of the water lapping against the banks becomes unusually pronounced. almost as if responding to her presence. Some observers note a sudden drop in temperature, a coldness that contrasts sharply with the warmth of a typical spring or summer morning. Birds that are normally present around the pond fall silent, and the usual hum of the city feels muted, leaving an uncanny stillness. These subtle disturbances contribute to the sense that the lady in the lake exists on a different plane, visible only to those attuned to the unusual energies of the park. The apparition has been seen by people of all ages. Early risers walking their dogs often report glimpses through the fog, while children sailing model boats speak of a mysterious lady standing silently nearby. In many accounts, attempts to call out to her or approach more closely result in her fading away, leaving the observer with an empty bank and the quiet ripple of the pond. Some witnesses describe the feeling of being watched long after she has disappeared, as though her presence lingers in the mist, unseen but undeniably real. Paranormal enthusiasts and historians alike have explored conservatory water to understand these sightings. Photographs occasionally capture fleeting images, a faint, almost transparent silhouette near the pond's edge or the vague outline of a flowing gown in the mist. Audio recordings have sometimes picked up indistinct whispers, soft sighs, or the subtle sound of water moving in unnatural patterns. While skeptics attribute these experiences to fog, reflections, or misperceptions, the consistency of reports over decades lends weight to the legend of the lady in the lake. The psychological effect on witnesses is often profound. Many report a sense of awe mixed with fear, a compelling curiosity tempered by an instinct to keep a safe distance. Some describe the encounter as bittersweet, a glimpse of something tragic yet beautiful, a reminder of the fleeting nature of life and the unresolved mysteries that linger in familiar places. The lady in the lake embodies both beauty and sorrow, capturing the imagination of anyone who encounters her and leaving a lingering impression that can last long after leaving the pond. Local storytellers have woven her into the broader lore of Central Park, connecting her to other apparitions and mysterious occurrences throughout the park. She is sometimes portrayed as a guardian of the water, a spirit who ensures the pond remains untouched by harm, or as a melancholic echo of the city's history, a ghostly witness to countless decades of life unfolding around her. Regardless of interpretation, the lady in the lake has become an enduring figure in the park's collection of supernatural tales. Her image appearing in books, blogs, and personal accounts of visitors who have been fortunate or unfortunate enough to encounter her. Even today, conservatory water retains its dual nature. By day, it is serene and picturesque, filled with laughter, boats, and the light reflecting off the rippling surface. But on misty mornings, when the city is quiet and the fog drifts low, there is always the possibility of encountering the lady in the lake. Those who do often leave with a sense of wonder and unease, an awareness that beneath the familiar surface of the park, there exists a layer of mystery and tragedy embodied in a lone figure, forever searching, forever waiting, and forever haunting the waters of Conservatory Pond. The Dakota Building, standing proudly at the corner of 72nd Street and Central Park West, is one of New York City's most iconic and storied residences. Constructed in 1884, its striking Gothic Revival architecture, ornate facades, and steeply pitched roofs have long captured the attention of architects, historians, and passers-by alike. Over the decades, the Dakota has become synonymous not only with elegance and luxury, but also with mystery. While its grand apartments and historic charm attract residents seeking prestige and history, there is another layer to the building that is far less visible, an aura of the supernatural that has inspired countless ghostly tales. Among these, one story endures above all others: the apparition of a woman in Victorian attire, forever gazing out across Central Park. Witnesses describe the ghostly figure with remarkable detail. She is said to wear a long, flowing dress characteristic of the late 19th or early 20th century, complete with delicate lace and high collars. Her hair is usually described as dark, pinned neatly in a style of the era, and her posture is always upright, as if she retains the poise of a woman accustomed to refinement. What makes her presence unnerving is not only her attire, but the aura of melancholy that surrounds her. Observers claim that when they spot her at the windows, her gaze is fixed, distant, and filled with longing, as though she is lost in a memory she cannot leave behind. The majority of sightings occur in the upper floors of the Dakota, where the expansive windows overlook the northern edges of Central Park. Passers-by, walking along the park's pathways, have reported glimpsing a pale figure silhouetted against the glass, watching silently, unmoving, and seemingly oblivious to the world outside. On rare occasions, residents within the building have encountered the apparition from inside their own apartments. They describe a sudden chill in a room, a feeling of being watched, and then the gradual appearance of the woman at the far window, framed by the building's intricate moldings. Though she remains silent, her presence is unmistakable and profoundly affecting, evoking a mixture of awe and unease. Local lore suggests that the spirit may be a former resident of the Dakota, a woman who lived and died within its walls many decades ago. Stories vary. Some claim she was a socialite whose life ended tragically, while others suggest she was a caretaker or domestic worker deeply devoted to the building and its surrounding. Regardless of her identity, there is a consistent thread in these tales: her attachment to Central Park. The park, a short walk from the Dakota's doors, has long been a place of beauty and solace, and it seems that the ghost's fixation on the trees' pathways and open spaces reflects an emotional bond that persists beyond death. Observers often remark that she does not move about the room or the apartment, but rather remains at the window, her gaze never wavering, as though she is eternally keeping watch over the park she once knew so well. Some witnesses report that her appearance is accompanied by other unexplained phenomena. Lights have been known to flicker in unoccupied rooms. The faint scent of roses, her presumed favorites, has been detected near the windows, and the faint sound of a piano or delicate footsteps has been reported echoing through hallways. These occurrences, while subtle, contribute to the impression that the Dakota is more than just a historic building. It is a space where time and memory linger, allowing past residents to maintain a spectral presence. Paranormal investigators who have explored the Dakota note that the building's age, architecture, and history make it a plausible site for haunting. The high ceilings, ornate woodwork, and expansive windows create spaces where shadows and reflections can play tricks on the eye. Yet the consistency of eyewitness accounts suggests that the apparitions are more than mere optical illusions. Photographs taken from the street or from nearby buildings have occasionally captured faint, semi-transparent figures that resemble a woman in period attire, though the images are often blurry and difficult to analyze conclusively. Still, for those who have encountered her in person, the experience is immediate and deeply affecting, leaving an impression that lingers long after the sighting. The ghost of the Dakota has become a subject of fascination not only for those interested in the paranormal, but also for historians and storytellers. In some accounts, she is portrayed as a guardian of the building, watching silently to ensure that the Dakota and its surroundings remain safe and respected. In others, she is seen as a melancholy remnant of a bygone era, a spirit whose longing gaze embodies the passage of time and the impermanence of life. Regardless of interpretation, her presence enriches the cultural fabric of the Dakota, blending historical fact with legend, and ensuring that the building is remembered not only for its architecture, but also for its mysteries. Visitors to Central Park's western edge, where the Dakota faces the northern stretches of the park, sometimes stop to gaze at the windows, hoping for a glimpse of the enigmatic lady. On misty or overcast days, her form is said to appear more distinctly, framed by the soft light filtering through the clouds. Those who witness her often describe a feeling of reverence, a quiet acknowledgement of her presence, and a sense that she embodies both the history of the Dakota and the enduring connection between the building and the park. Even today, the Dakota's residents live alongside a story that blends history, tragedy, and the unexplained. The ghostly woman in Victorian attire continues to capture the imagination, a reminder that the past lingers in subtle and mysterious ways. Whether she is a spirit of longing, a guardian of the building, or simply an echo of memories embedded in the stone and glass, Her presence ensures that the Dakota remains a place where history and legend intersect, where the ordinary and the supernatural coexist, and where the park outside the windows is forever watched by a silent, spectral gaze. Tavern on the Green, nestled in the heart of Central Park, has long been a centerpiece of New York City dining and social life. Since its opening in the 1930s, the restaurant has attracted countless visitors with its charming architecture, ivy-covered walls, and picturesque setting. Once a favorite gathering spot for both locals and tourists, its reputation for fine food and lively atmosphere is rivaled only by the legends that whisper through its historic halls. Among the stories most often told is that of the restaurant's ghostly visitors. Experiences that have made Tavern on the Green one of the park's most famously haunted locations. The hauntings are as varied as the restaurant's long history. Patrons and staff alike have reported hearing the soft clinking of glasses and silverware in rooms long emptied of diners. The sounds often occur late at night, when the restaurant is closed or nearly empty, leaving only a few employees tending to cleaning or maintenance. The noises are described as coming from every direction, echoing through the grand dining halls as if invisible guests were still seated at the tables, enjoying an evening long past. Waitstaff report the unsettling sensation of being watched, feeling as if unseen eyes follow their movements as they navigate the polished floors and oak-paneled walls. One of the most frequently reported phenomena involves spectral figures sitting at tables, often in full evening attire. Witnesses describe these apparitions as sharply dressed men in suits, women in elegant dresses, and couples engaged in quiet conversation. Patrons who claim to have seen them often experience a strange mixture of curiosity and unease. Approaching the figures usually results in disappointment and confusion. The ghosts vanish before physical contact can occur, leaving only an empty table and a lingering sense of presence. Some visitors report that chairs are slightly moved, or place settings appear as if recently used, suggesting that these spirits continue their nightly routines even long after the last curtain of reality has fallen. The restaurant's long history has given rise to many theories about who or what remains within its walls. Tavern on the Green has seen numerous owners, renovations, and expansions, as well as decades of staff and patrons passing through its doors. Some believe that the ghosts are former employees, bound to the restaurant by loyalty, duty, or unfinished business. Others suggest that the spirits belong to diners who once frequented the establishment, their attachments to the elegant atmosphere and social gatherings strong enough to transcend death. The constant flux of people over the decades may have left a residual imprint, a lingering echo of energy that manifests in fleeting glimpses, sounds, and sensations. Staff members often recount specific incidents that defy easy explanation. One cook described preparing a late-night meal when the aroma of food intensified, despite no stove being lit, followed by faint laughter and the whisper of voices drifting from the dining room. Another employee, sweeping the floor in a corner of the restaurant, claimed to see a woman in a flowing gown glide past the tables before disappearing into the shadows. Bartenders have reported glasses tipping slightly or sliding across counters with no discernible cause. Even during daytime hours, these strange occurrences occasionally persist, though they seem more pronounced when the building is quiet and empty. Several patrons have shared particularly eerie experiences. Some have felt cold drafts sweeping through the rooms while the windows remain closed, or sudden chills that run down the spine for no apparent reason. Others have reported fleeting glimpses of shadowy forms moving along the periphery of their vision, disappearing when looked at directly. In rare cases, diners have claimed to hear soft, indistinct conversations emanating from empty booths, or the faint echo of footsteps moving along the polished floors. These occurrences, though fleeting and inconsistent, have been enough to cement Tavern on the Green's reputation as a haunted location. Blending the elegance of its past with the mysteries of the unknown, the architecture of the restaurant itself seems to lend credence to the tales. The expansive dining rooms, with their high ceilings, arched windows, and iron chandeliers, create natural echoes that can amplify even the slightest noise. Narrow hallways and alcoves allow shadows to play tricks on the eye, while the interplay of light and reflection from the surrounding park can make ordinary movement appear otherworldly. Yet, despite possible natural explanations, the consistency of witness accounts over decades has convinced many that there is something more at play, an enduring presence that refuses to be ignored. Some historians and paranormal enthusiasts suggest that the hauntings at Tavern on the Green reflect not just the energy of past events, but the emotional resonance of the space itself. Places of gathering, celebration, and human interaction can retain a sort of memory. They argue, a residual imprint of joy, sorrow, or excitement. Tavern on the Green, with its long history of dinners, parties, and social gatherings, would be particularly susceptible to such phenomena. In this sense, the ghostly figures may not be tied to specific individuals, but are rather echoes of countless experiences, forever replayed in the grand halls of the restaurant. Visitors today often enter Tavern on the Green with a sense of anticipation, aware of the stories that surround it. Some come hoping to catch a glimpse of the spectral patrons, while others approach with curiosity and a healthy dose of skepticism. Even without witnessing a ghost, the ambiance of the restaurant's history, its architecture, and its lingering energy creates a unique experience that blends reality with legend. Whether it is the echo of laughter, the glimpse of a figure in an old-fashioned gown, or the soft clinking of invisible glasses, Tavern on the Green continues to captivate the imagination. The hauntings of Tavern on the Green serve as a reminder of the layers of history embedded in Central Park and the city at large. They bridge the gap between past and present, offering a glimpse of lives once lived, conversations once shared, and moments forever preserved in memory. The ghosts are not malevolent, but instead seem to inhabit the space as gentle observers, quietly continuing the routines and celebrations that made the restaurant beloved. For those who visit, the experience is both enchanting and haunting, a testament to the enduring legacy of a place where the ordinary and the supernatural coexist. The Bow Bridge, arching elegantly over the waters of Central Park's lake, is renowned for its romantic allure. With its delicate cast-iron design, gentle curves, and panoramic views of the surrounding trees and water, it has long been a destination for lovers, photographers, and anyone seeking a moment of serenity amid the bustling city. By day, the bridge is alive with the chatter of tourists and the soft laughter of couples taking in the scenery. By evening, especially under the muted glow of street lamps or the pale light of the moon, the bridge takes on an almost ethereal quality, its arches reflecting perfectly in the calm water below. Yet beneath its beauty lies a story whispered among locals and parkgoers. A legend that has made the Bow Bridge one of Central Park's most mysterious and haunted locations. The tale of the vanishing lovers. For decades, visitors have reported witnessing couples walking hand in hand across the bridge, dressed in fashions not of the present day, but reminiscent of eras long past. Some describe women in flowing dresses with delicate lace and men in dark suits or coats, the sort of attire seen in photographs from the late 19th or early 20th centuries. These figures move gracefully, as though caught in a private moment of intimacy, unaware or unconcerned about the modern world surrounding them. They are often described as silent, their faces serene, expressions full of quiet affection and longing. What makes these encounters truly unsettling is the manner in which the couples vanish. Approaching them, attempting to cross their path, or even calling out, often results in nothing. One moment the couple is visible, walking in step across the bridge. The next, they have disappeared completely. Some witnesses report that the air feels heavier or colder as the figures vanish, leaving a lingering chill in their wake. Others claim that the reflection of the couple in the water persists for a few fleeting seconds after the figures themselves have disappeared, as though the bridge itself refuses to let go of them entirely. Local legend attributes these spectral apparitions to lovers who met tragic ends, their spirits forever bound to the bridge. Various stories circulate. Some say the lovers were separated by circumstance, one dying tragically before they could be married, the other left to grieve in silence. Others suggest a darker fate, fatal accident on the bridge itself, a leap into the waters below in a desperate act of passion, or an untimely death shortly after a secret meeting. While the historical records are often unclear or non-existent, the consistency of the sightings over decades lends weight to the belief that the bridge is somehow a liminal space, a place where the veil between life and afterlife is thin, allowing these lovers to walk once more in eternal embrace. Witnesses have shared remarkably similar accounts of the experience. Many report the same calm, almost dreamlike atmosphere surrounding the apparitions. Birds, usually active around the water, fall silent during these sightings, and the usual ambient noises of the city are muted. The couples move at a slow, deliberate pace, synchronized in motion, as if performing a ritual, yet completely unaware of the modern onlookers. Those who approach often speak of an overwhelming sense of melancholy, an emotional weight that seems to emanate from the figures themselves. It is a sorrowful yet tender presence, a ghostly reminder of love interrupted by fate. Video recordings sometimes reveal fleeting outlines that vanish when viewed closely. And infrared or thermal equipment has occasionally picked up anomalies along the bridge's railings and arches, while skeptics suggest these occurrences could be optical illusions, reflections, or tricks of light and shadow. The sheer number and consistency of reports make a compelling case for something unexplained inhabiting this iconic structure. The bridge's architecture itself seems to enhance the eerie phenomenon. Its arches and open ironwork create natural echoes that carry sound in unusual ways, amplifying distant noises into whispers. The gentle curve of the bridge allows for partial concealment, making figures appear and disappear abruptly, depending on the observer's angle. Combined with the reflective surface of the lake and the often foggy or misty mornings in the park, the environment becomes a perfect stage for supernatural activity, or the perception of it. Yet those who have seen the vanishing lovers insist that what they witnessed is far more than atmospheric trickery. The figures, movements, their expressions, and the emotional resonance of their presence suggest a depth that goes beyond mere illusion. Paranormal investigators and historians alike have taken interest in the phenomenon. Some suggest that the bridge serves as a residual haunt, a location where intense emotional energy has been recorded and replays itself for sensitive observers. Others propose that the lovers' spirits are actively bound to the bridge, repeating the moments of their affection in an eternal cycle, drawn back by the intensity of their unfinished story. Regardless of explanation, the vanishing lovers have become a central part of Central Park lore, embodying the park's blend of romance, history, and mystery. Visitors today continue to approach the Bow Bridge with both awe and caution. Some hope for a glimpse of the ghostly couples, drawn by curiosity and the allure of witnessing a living memory of love frozen in time. Others simply pause to consider the stories, imagining what emotions might have lingered along the arches for decades. The legend has persisted for generations, becoming a quiet but potent part of the park's identity. A reminder that even in a city as bustling and modern as New York, the past can leave echoes that walk hand in hand into the present. Whether real or imagined, the vanishing lovers of the Bow Bridge continue to captivate the imagination, offering a haunting testament to love, loss, and the enduring power of memory. Their silent strolls across the iron arches remind all who witness or imagine them that some stories, no matter how tragic, refuse to be forgotten. Eternally replayed on one of Central Park's most romantic and enigmatic structures, Strawberry Fields, nestled in the heart of Central Park, near West 72nd Street, is a place designed for reflection, remembrance, and serenity. Dedicated to the life and legacy of John Lennon, the memorial features a tranquil, circular design, with the iconic Imagine mosaic at its center, surrounded by carefully landscaped gardens and quiet pathways. By day, visitors from around the world come to pay their respects, sit in contemplation, or simply take in the peaceful atmosphere. The area exudes a sense of calm, punctuated only by the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant hum of city life. Yet beneath this veneer of serenity, many have reported experiences that suggest Strawberry Fields holds more than just memories. It may also be a site of lingering musical presence, a place where the spirit of John Lennon continues to play his music for those who are open to listening. Visitors often describe hearing faint strains of music while walking among the trees or resting near the mosaic. The melodies are unmistakably reminiscent of Lennon's work, often identified as Beatles songs or solo compositions, though the sources are always elusive. Some have reported hearing the gentle opening chords of Imagine drifting across the lawn on quiet mornings, the notes so clear that it seems someone is seated nearby with a guitar, strumming softly. Others have claimed to hear harmonies, the voices of Lennon and his bandmates echoing faintly among the trees. Yet no performers, no speakers, and no musicians are ever present. The music appears spontaneously, filling the air with a haunting and beautiful energy that leaves listeners both awed and unsettled. Those who have encountered the phenomenon often describe a mix of emotions, nostalgia, joy, and an almost spiritual reverence. The melodies are rarely loud or intrusive. Instead, they are delicate, seeming to emanate naturally from the environment itself. The wind through the leaves may carry the sound, or it may appear as if the music comes directly from the center of the mosaic. Some witnesses have reported that, when they approach the imagined mosaic, the music intensifies slightly, as though drawn to those who seek it with intention. Others notice that once they attempt to record or capture it with devices, the sound fades, leaving only the memory of the experience. Many theories attempt to explain these mysterious sounds. Skeptics suggest that urban noise, distant buskers, or passing musicians could account for occasional echoes of music. But the consistency and specificity of the reports challenge such explanations. Witnesses often recount similar experiences. The music is distinctly Beatles-like, evoking Lennon's voice and style, and occurs at times when the park is relatively empty. Some even claim that certain songs appear in direct correlation with the emotions or thoughts of the listener, creating a deeply personal and sometimes emotional encounter. Local lore and anecdotal accounts have transformed Strawberry Fields into a site of quiet supernatural fascination. Some believe that Lennon's spirit lingers in the park, drawn to the location by the love and remembrance of fans. In this interpretation, the music is a gift, a way for his spirit to interact with those who come to honor his memory. Others suggest that the melodies are echoes of powerful, emotional energy, a residual imprint left by the countless tributes, songs, and memories of Lennon that have accumulated over the years. Regardless of the cause, the experiences are consistently described as comforting yet otherworldly, an invisible thread connecting the living to the deceased in a space defined by remembrance. Some visitors recount more detailed encounters. One woman described sitting quietly near the mosaic, reflecting on the life of Lennon. When she heard the soft strumming of guitar strings, accompanied by a clear, melodic voice, she looked around but saw no one. The sound continued for several minutes before fading into the ambient park noises. Another visitor, a man taking photographs, reported capturing faint vibrations of music as he stood near the memorial, though playback revealed nothing recorded. In each case, the encounter left an emotional impression far stronger than the physical evidence. A reminder that the experience of sound is as much about perception and connection as it is about tangible sources. The surrounding environment of Strawberry Fields may contribute to the phenomenon. The area is relatively secluded compared to other parts of Central Park, with thick trees buffering the site from city noise. The garden paths, benches, and low walls create an intimate setting where sound can seem to emanate from nowhere. And the reflective mosaic may serve as a focal point, drawing attention and intention in a way that heightens perception. On quiet mornings, or in the soft light of early evening, the park's natural acoustics and the human mind's sensitivity to meaningful stimuli could combine to produce experiences that feel profoundly real and inexplicable. Over time, the mysterious sounds of Strawberry Fields have become a central part of the memorial's cultural lore. Stories circulate among visitors, tour guides, and paranormal enthusiasts, describing not only the music but also the emotional resonance it brings. The songs often evoke nostalgia, introspection, and sometimes tears, as if the melodies carry both the artistic genius and the human vulnerability of Lennon himself. Some even report brief glimpses of movement near the mosaic, shadows shifting with the music. Though nothing can be confirmed beyond the auditory experience, whether interpreted as supernatural, psychological, or a mixture of both, the music of Strawberry Fields serves as a powerful reminder of the enduring influence of John Lennon. It is not merely the sound of notes played, but the echo of creativity, memory, and emotion, lingering in a space dedicated to reflection and remembrance. Visitors leave with a sense of connection, a feeling that the park and its memorial are alive with the presence of the man whose music continues to inspire. For those who walk the paths of Strawberry Fields with an open heart and a quiet mind, the experience can be transformative. The faint strains of Lennon's melodies, drifting mysteriously through the air, offer both comfort and wonder, a haunting reminder that the art we love may never truly leave us. Whether the music is a ghostly echo, a residual imprint of emotion, or something entirely beyond explanation, it ensures that Strawberry Fields remains a place not only of memory, but of living connection, where visitors can hear, feel, and remember in the presence of something eternal. The North Woods, tucked into the northern reaches of Central Park, is one of the park's most secluded and atmospheric areas. Unlike the manicured lawns, open fields, and bustling promenades that draw tourists and families, the North Woods offers dense forests, winding trails, rocky outcrops, and quiet streams. It is a place where nature feels almost untouched, despite its location within one of the world's busiest cities. But for all its natural beauty, the North Woods carries an air of mystery and unease. Many who venture into its shaded paths have reported experiences that suggest something unseen lingers among the trees, a presence that continues long after the sun has set. Hikers and parkgoers often speak of whispers carried on the wind, voices so faint they seem to emanate from the rustling leaves or the flowing streams. Sometimes these whispers are unintelligible, fragments of conversations that vanish as quickly as they are heard. Other times, they seem deliberate, as though an unseen observer is trying to communicate. The sounds are unsettling, not because they are loud or violent, but because they are inexplicably human. Many report a shiver running down their spine, a sudden awareness of being watched, as if the dense thickets and towering trees conceal eyes that follow every step. Footsteps are another phenomenon frequently reported in the North Woods. Visitors recount walking alone along narrow paths, only to hear the distinct sound of someone trailing them. The pace of these steps often matches their own, echoing each stride. Yet when they stop or turn, there is no one there. In some cases, multiple sets of steps are heard, suggesting the presence of a group moving silently behind them. Hikers have described the sensation as disorienting, a feeling that the woods themselves are alive with unseen movement, and that every turn could reveal a concealer ghostly figure. The history of the area provides a haunting explanation for these experiences. Long before Central Park was constructed in the mid-19th century, the land was home to Seneca Village, a vibrant African-American community. Families lived in modest homes, cultivated gardens, and maintained churches and schools. The village represented a thriving neighborhood, but its residents were forcibly displaced when the city seized the land to create the park. Houses were demolished, families scattered, and a community erased from the map. Many believe that the spirits of those who were uprooted linger in the North Woods, tied to the land that was once their home. Some suggest that the whispers, footsteps, and sensations of being watched are echoes of a community that refuses to be forgotten. Visitors who have spent extended time in the North Woods often report a sense of temporal distortion, a feeling that the forest is larger than it should be, and that the paths twist and loop in impossible ways. Some hikers recount feeling disoriented, losing track of how long they have been walking, and encountering the same clearing or boulder multiple times despite moving forward. This repetition can create the impression of an unseen guide or a lingering presence shaping the terrain. While part of this could be attributed to the dense and irregular layout of the woods, witnesses consistently report an accompanying sense of emotional weight or heaviness, that seems to press upon the shoulders and chest, as if the land itself carries the memory of loss and displacement. Occasionally, more tangible manifestations have been described. Some visitors claim to see fleeting shadows moving between the trees, figures so brief and translucent that they are gone before fully comprehended. Others report glimpsing faces reflected in pools of water, mist swirling around them in shapes that suggest human forms. Even when these sightings are not confirmed by photographs or other observers, those who experience them describe a powerful emotional resonance, a feeling of sadness, longing, and unresolved grief that is difficult to shake. Park employees and rangers, who spend long hours in the North Woods, have occasionally shared their own encounters. Some speak of hearing voices calling from deep within the thickets, voices that seem to repeat fragments of everyday life, laughter, children playing, or conversations that could have belonged to the residents of Seneca Village. Others report hearing the sudden sound of tools striking stone or wood, as if construction or farming work were being carried out by unseen hands. While these experiences are rare and often dismissed by skeptics, the consistency of reports over decades has created a reputation for the North Woods as one of Central Park's most haunted areas. Some paranormal enthusiasts and historians suggest that the North Woods is a place where emotional and historical energy has been preserved, a kind of residual haunting. The forced removal of an entire community, the loss of homes, and the severing of families could have left a strong imprint on the land. Those sensitive to this energy may perceive echoes of the lives once lived. They are fragments of sound, movement, and presence that manifest in the natural environment. Others argue that the spirits are not residual but conscious, actively inhabiting the woods, walking the trails, and attempting to be seen or heard by those who enter. Visitors today often approach the North Woods with a mix of curiosity and caution. Those who are drawn to its shadows and streams report an awareness that the space is alive in more ways than one. The whispering leaves, the sudden footsteps, and the fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures create an atmosphere of reverence, a reminder of the lives that once thrived where the city now stands. For some, it is a place of reflection and remembrance, a quiet acknowledgement of history etched into the land. For others, it is a place of unease, where the boundaries between the living and the departed seem impossibly thin. Whether interpreted as the lingering spirits of Seneca Village or the heightened perceptions of visitors attuned to the woods, isolation, and natural acoustics, the North Woods remains a place steeped in mystery. Its dense trees and winding trails conceal more than just wildlife. They hold stories of lives disrupted, memories preserved, and the restless souls who refuse to leave. Hikers and wanderers continue to report strange sensations, mysterious sounds, and fleeting glimpses, ensuring that the legend of the North Woods endures as one of Central Park's most haunting and unforgettable mysteries. The Ramble Cave, also known historically as Indian Cave, is nestled deep within Central Park's Ramble, a dense and winding woodland area designed to emulate a natural forest. Its rocky entrance, partially hidden by overhanging trees and tangled vines, once invited couples, adventurers, and explorers seeking privacy and a sense of mystery. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the cave was renowned as a romantic hideaway, a secluded spot where young lovers could escape the bustle of the city, whisper secrets, and steal fleeting moments of intimacy. The natural acoustics of the cave, along with the quiet isolation, added to its allure, giving the space an almost magical quality. However, the cave's reputation soon darkened. By the 1920s, tales of tragedy began to circulate. The very same features that once drew people seeking solace and romance, its concealment, isolation, and natural beauty, also made it a place where misfortune could strike unseen. Visitors and locals began to whisper about strange occurrences, shadows moving unnaturally, faint cries echoing from the cave's depths, and a feeling of being watched by something unseen. By 1934, the cave had become infamous enough that park officials decided to seal its entrance, hoping to prevent further tragedy and quell the growing unease surrounding it. Even so, Reports of paranormal activity persisted long after the cave was closed off. People who passed near its sealed entrance frequently reported sudden chills in the air, as though the cave exhaled cold breath into the surrounding woods. Others claimed to hear the faint murmur of voices, lovers arguing, crying, or whispering intimate secrets, seemingly emanating from the rock itself. These sounds were often described as distinct from the ordinary rustling of leaves or the calls of birds, carrying with them an uncanny, almost human resonance. Sightings of shadowy figures near the cave also became a common story. Walkers along the Ramble have recounted seeing shapes darting between the trees or glimpsing figures that seemed to linger just inside the cave's sealed entrance. Some witnesses reported seeing a solitary figure, silhouetted against the darkness, standing motionless as though waiting for someone or something. The figure would vanish the moment they stepped closer or tried to get a better look, leaving only the dense foliage and rocky terrain behind. These encounters often left those who experienced them with a lingering sense of unease, a feeling that the cave was not truly empty, that its past inhabitants, or perhaps the spirits of those who died, there remained many attribute the paranormal activity to the tragic history of the location. The Ramble Cave witnessed repeated acts of human suffering, from suicides to violent encounters. Some historians and paranormal enthusiasts believe that the emotional intensity of these events created residual energy, a phenomenon in which the earth itself records the echoes of intense human experiences. This energy, they argue, manifests in audible sounds, fleeting shadows, and feelings of presence that visitors interpret as harm. The cave, with its natural acoustics and isolation, would have been an ideal vessel for such residual phenomena, amplifying sounds and impressions in ways that feel real and immediate to those nearby. Others propose a more conscious form of haunting, that the spirits of those who died or suffered in the cave linger, bound to the location by unresolved trauma or unfinished business. Witnesses often describe encounters that feel emotionally charged, as if the apparitions are aware of the living and are trying to communicate, warn, or relive moments that ended in tragedy. Some report feeling a sudden pressure, as though unseen hands brush against their shoulders, or a sudden urge to leave the area without explanation. Others experience auditory phenomena, like whispers repeating phrases of longing, anger, or sorrow. In these interpretations, the cave is not merely a backdrop for spectral echoes. It is an active, emotionally resonant space where the past is never fully silent. Even in the absence of human witnesses, the cave seems to exert an influence on the environment around it. Birds and small animals reportedly avoid the immediate area, and hikers often describe an unnatural stillness, a quiet that feels heavier than ordinary forest silence. Fog and mist are said to form more readily around the cave, curling in strange ways that obscure the entrance and give it an otherworldly appearance. At night, the shadows cast by the overhanging rocks create shapes that seem almost animate, further feeding the impression that the space is inhabited by unseen presences. Despite its official closure and the sealing of the entrance, the Ramble Cave continues to fascinate both ghost hunters and history enthusiasts. Its combination of natural beauty, isolation, and dark history creates a potent mix of allure and fear. Visitors today often tread carefully along the paths nearby, some drawn by curiosity, others by the stories passed down through generations. Even those who do not actively seek supernatural experiences often report an inexplicable feeling of tension, as though the cave itself is watching, aware, and unwilling to be ignored. In modern times, the Ramble Cave stands as both a cautionary tale and a source of fascination. It is a reminder that even spaces created for leisure and romance can become sites of tragedy, that the emotional imprint of the past can linger long after physical barriers are in place, and that history, both human and spectral, has a way of asserting itself in unexpected ways. The whispers, shadows, and chills surrounding the cave continue to ensure that it remains one of Central Park's most haunting and enigmatic locations. The Dakota Building, an iconic and imposing structure bordering the northwest corner of Central Park, is renowned not only for its striking architecture and historic significance, but also for the myriad ghost stories that have emerged over the decades. Completed in 1884, the Dakota was considered luxurious and avant-garde for its time, attracting artists, musicians, and affluent residents who appreciated both its aesthetic elegance and prime location. Its ornate facade, detailed carvings, and high, narrow windows give the building an air of grandeur. Yet its storied past has also made it a focal point for tales of the paranormal. Among the most persistent of these stories is the legend of the woman in Victorian attire, whose presence has been reported by residents, passers-by, and visitors alike. Witnesses describe the apparition as a tall, elegant woman dressed in the long, dark dresses and high-collared blouses characteristic of the late 19th century. Her hair is often depicted as pinned neatly atop her head, and her posture is rigid yet graceful, as though she belongs entirely to the era in which she lived. She is usually seen standing by the tall windows of the Dakota, her gaze fixed outward, watching the expanse of Central Park below. Whether it is the shimmer of early morning light or the muted glow of the city at dusk, observers consistently note the figure's serene yet melancholic demeanor, as though she is caught in an eternal moment of longing or reflection. The circumstances of her presence remain mysterious. Some believe she is the spirit of a former resident who died in the building, her life cut short under unknown or tragic circumstances. Others speculate that she may have been a woman tied to the Dakota's earliest days, perhaps an original owner or a member of a wealthy family whose memory lingers in the space she once occupied. Unlike the occasional cold spots or sudden noises reported in other haunted locations, the sightings of the Victorian woman are notable for their consistency over time. Decades of accounts describe the same appearance, attire, and behavior, suggesting that her presence is enduring and deliberate, rather than fleeting or coincidental. Residents who have glimpsed the figure often recount a distinct emotional resonance accompanying the encounter. Some describe an overwhelming sense of melancholy, as though the woman carries the weight of her life's unfulfilled desires or sorrows. Others report a feeling of calm or reassurance, a gentle presence that seems protective rather than threatening. In many cases, the observer experiences the apparition peripherally, seeing her out of the corner of the eye before she disappears when looked at directly. Some have even attempted to communicate, waving or calling softly, only to find that the figure remains silent, still, and detached from the living world. Several reports suggest that the apparition is most often visible during moments of transition, dawn and dusk, when light and shadow play across the Dakota's elaborate facade, or during inclement weather when fog and mist blur the lines between reality and memory. It is during these times that the woman is most frequently observed standing at the window, her figure framed by the ornate trim, watching the park below. Some witnesses report that she appears for only a few moments before vanishing completely, while others claim to have seen her for extended periods, almost as if she is conducting a silent vigil. The Dakota's reputation for hauntings is not limited to this one apparition. Residents over the years have described unexplained sounds, faint music drifting through empty hallways, soft footsteps echoing along the corridors, and doors opening or closing on their own. Some have reported objects moving inexplicably, lights flickering without cause, and a persistent sense of being observed even when alone. Yet, it is the Victorian woman who remains the building's most enduring and emblematic specter, a figure whose presence seems deeply rooted in the Dakota's history. Paranormal enthusiasts and historians alike have examined the Dakota's past to better understand these phenomena. The building's early residents included notable figures from the arts and society, many of whom lived intensely private lives. The combination of the Dakota's architectural grandeur, its historical significance, and the concentrated emotional energy of its past inhabitants may contribute to the lingering presence of this ghostly figure. Some suggest that the woman's apparition is a residual haunting, a replay of a person's routine or memory frozen in time. Others argue that she is a conscious spirit, aware of those who observe her, and choosing to remain tethered to the building she once called home. The location itself enhances the eerie quality of these encounters. From her vantage point in the Dakota's upper floors, the woman appears to watch over Central Park, a sprawling landscape of greenery, water, and meandering paths that has remained remarkably consistent over more than a century. Her gaze, directed outward yet unwavering, gives the impression of a deep connection to the world below, a longing to remain part of the life and activity she once observed. Visitors and residents who have noticed her describe a feeling that the park and the building are intertwined in her presence, as though she exists simultaneously in both spaces, straddling the line between the past and present. Sightings of the Dakota woman have continued into modern times, with new residents and visitors reporting similar experiences to those of decades past. Photographs sometimes capture anomalies near the windows, faint silhouettes that resemble a figure in period dress. Though such images are often difficult to authenticate, they fuel the legend and inspire ongoing fascination. Tours of the area occasionally highlight her presence, recounting stories of her vigil and encouraging visitors to consider the human lives that have shaped the building and the city around it. Whether one interprets the sightings as paranormal, psychological, or symbolic, the Victorian woman of the Dakota building remains a compelling part of New York City lore. She is a reminder that spaces can retain the essence of those who lived, loved, and passed within them, and that memory, emotion, and history sometimes manifest in ways that transcend the ordinary. For those walking past the Dakota, a glance toward the upper windows may reveal her still standing there, silent, elegant, and eternal, watching over the park she once gazed upon, a spectral witness to the passage of time and the stories of countless lives below. Tucked away in a quiet corner of Central Park, the Forever Tree has stood as a living memorial for nearly 4 decades. Unlike the park's grand statues and fountains, this 18-foot hinoki, false cypress, carries a deeply personal significance for those who know its story. Every year, as the seasons turn toward winter, the tree is transformed into a tribute to the countless pets who have left lasting imprints on their owners' hearts. Its branches, evergreen and resilient, are adorned with hundreds of ornaments, photographs, and handwritten messages, each one telling a story of love, companionship, and remembrance. Though the exact location of the Forever Tree is kept largely secret, the legend of the memorial has spread widely. Those fortunate enough to visit it speak of a strange combination of serenity and reverence that seems to radiate from the tree. Visitors often describe a soft hush in the surrounding area, as if the tree itself absorbs the noise of the bustling city beyond the park's boundaries. The ornaments shimmer gently in the light, each reflecting a memory of a pet once cherished, a companion now gone but never forgotten. Some of the tributes are whimsical: a small ceramic dog wearing a bow, a hand-painted bird, a stuffed rabbit butt. All share a common thread of love and loss, forming a tapestry of devotion across the tree's branches. Locals speak of the Forever Tree with a kind of hushed awe, as though its presence commands respect. Many leave small gifts or tokens alongside the ornaments, adding layers to a tradition that has grown organically over decades. Some of the tributes honor dogs, cats, and rabbits, like Scout the Terrier and Milo Lee the rabbit, whose names appear on plaques or written tags hanging delicately from the branches. Others commemorate less common companions, from parrots to hamsters, each one remembered with equal care. The collective memory carried by the tree creates an almost palpable sense of presence, as if the spirits of the pets linger nearby, drawn to the love and attention lavished upon them. Visitors report that spending time near the Forever Tree can be unexpectedly emotional. Many speak of a feeling of comfort, as if the tree itself offers solace to those grieving. Some have claimed to hear soft rustlings among the branches, even when there is no wind, as though invisible paws brush gently against the ornaments. Others have noticed subtle movements in the ornaments, slight shifts that seem deliberate rather than accidental, reinforcing the notion that the tree is more than a collection of decorations, is a living shrine that acknowledges the connections between humans and their beloved companions. The mystery of the Forever Tree extends beyond its secret location. Some say that those who stumble upon it unexpectedly are greeted with a profound sense of calm, as though they have been led there for a reason. Others have recounted moments of uncanny coincidence. A person grieving a recently lost pet visits the park and happens upon the tree, finding tributes that resonate deeply with their own experience. In these instances, the forever tree becomes not just a memorial, but a bridge between the living and the memories of those who have passed. The origins of the forever tree are shrouded in legend. While exact details are scarce, it is said that a devoted animal lover first began the tradition nearly 40 years ago, placing a single ornament in memory of a cherished pet. Over time, others caught wind of the practice and added their own tributes. The tree grew in size and in significance, becoming a secret pilgrimage site for those seeking to honor pets that had been important in their lives. The cumulative effect of decades of devotion has made the forever tree something more than just a tree. It is a repository of memory and love, a focal point for grief and celebration alike. Some who visit the tree report unusual experiences that seem to suggest a lingering presence. A few have described the sensation of being watched, not in fear, but as if invisible eyes, gentle and familiar, observe their actions. Others recount fleeting glimpses of shadowy forms moving among the branches or faint sounds of paws padding lightly on the ground, though no animals are present. These phenomena are subtle and rarely intrusive, yet they reinforce the perception that the forever tree is alive in ways that go beyond the physical. The secrecy surrounding the tree contributes to its mystique. Unlike other memorials in Central Park that are marked with plaques and signage, the forever tree remains hidden, known only to those who have been guided there or discovered it through careful exploration. This privacy ensures that the memorial retains an intimate, almost sacred atmosphere, shielding it from the casual passerby while preserving its aura of quiet reverence. For those who find it, the experience feels profoundly personal, as though the tree recognizes the emotional significance of each visit and responds in kind. As the holiday season approaches each year, the transformation of the forever tree is both spectacular and moving. Its branches are covered with ornaments, photos, and messages that sparkle in the winter sunlight or glow softly under lamplight. Each decoration tells a story, a fragment of a life shared, a bond that transcends time. Visitors often leave additional tokens, sometimes anonymously, adding to the layered history of the memorial and ensuring that the memory of countless pets endures. The forever tree is more than just a tribute. It is a testament to the enduring connection between humans and the animals they love. Its presence in Central Park offers solace to the grieving, joy to the remembering, and a quiet reminder that love persists even after loss. Those who find the tree often leave with a sense of peace, comforted by the knowledge that memory, devotion, and affection can be expressed in ways that outlast time itself. In its quiet corner of the park, the forever tree stands as a living, breathing monument to loyalty, companionship, and the bonds that make life richer, ensuring that those who have passed are never truly forgotten. Beneath the bustling walkways, manicured lawns, and tranquil ponds of Central Park lies a world hidden from the casual visitor. A labyrinth of secret tunnels and underground passageways. For decades, rumors have swirled about these hidden spaces, suggesting they were used for clandestine purposes during Prohibition or by secret societies operating in the city. While much of the park's surface is celebrated for its open spaces and scenic beauty, the subterranean network evokes a different kind of fascination, a sense of mystery, secrecy, and the untold stories that might lie just below the ground. Historical accounts suggest that some of these tunnels date back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries, coinciding with the park's early decades after its completion. The construction of Central Park involved extensive excavation, the creation of artificial lakes, and the installation of underground utility systems. It is within this network of stone foundations, service tunnels, and maintenance passages that the legends of hidden chambers were born. Locals whispered that certain tunnels were wider and more intricate than necessary for park operations, sparking speculation that they served secretive purposes. During Prohibition, from 1920 to 1933, New York City experienced a surge of illicit activity. and Central Park's hidden spaces were rumored to play a role. Bootleggers allegedly used the tunnels to smuggle alcohol or move it discreetly from one part of the city to another. These passages would have provided safe, unseen routes that bypassed police patrols and prying eyes. While hard evidence is scarce, occasional discoveries of bricked-up archways and chambers beneath the park lend some credibility to the idea that secretive movement was once possible below the streets and lawns. Other stories suggest that secret societies took advantage of the park's subterranean spaces. Some claim that elite groups, artists, intellectuals, or members of clandestine clubs used the tunnels for private meetings or rituals. These theories are fueled by the park's historical association with social elites and the presence of grand architectural features, such as Belvedere Castle and ornate bridges, which could have been used as entrances or landmarks. Though no definitive proof exists, the notion of clandestine gatherings beneath the park has persisted in local folklore for generations. Explorers and urban adventurers over the years have occasionally stumbled upon these hidden areas, often discovering narrow corridors, vaulted chambers, and remnants of brick and stone walls that hint at their former purposes. Some tunnels appear to have been reinforced with wooden beams, while others are lined with rough-hewn stone, suggesting multiple phases of construction. In several instances, explorers have found discarded bottles, rusted machinery, and other artifacts, adding to the speculation that these spaces were once active and functional. Though their exact use remains uncertain, visitors and park staff have reported unsettling experiences near areas thought to connect to the underground passages. Some recount sudden drops in temperature when standing on certain parts of the park, as though cold air escapes from hidden shafts below. Others describe hearing faint echoes, footsteps, whispers, or the distant clatter of objects seemingly coming from beneath the earth, though no tunnels are visible at the surface. These sensations, whether rooted in the park's natural acoustics or something more mysterious, contribute to the lore of the hidden network. The secrecy surrounding these tunnels has only deepened over time. Park maintenance teams know of service passages used for utilities, drainage, and storage, but much of the rumored network remains inaccessible, blocked, or undocumented. Occasionally, brick walls or metal doors are discovered where none were expected, prompting speculation about long-sealed rooms and forgotten passageways. This inaccessibility has allowed stories to flourish, blurring the line between documented infrastructure and imagination, making the idea of secret tunnels beneath Central Park almost as iconic as the park itself. Some believe the tunnels serve as a reminder of the city's layered history, where the visible and the hidden coexist, while the park above showcases beauty, recreation, and leisure. The underground spaces suggest a shadowy past, a place where lawlessness, secrecy, and perhaps even danger once lingered. These hidden corridors represent the unseen narratives of a city in flux, from illicit trade to clandestine gatherings, preserving mysteries that ordinary visitors rarely encounter. Paranormal enthusiasts add another layer to the intrigue, claiming that the tunnels may harbor echoes of the past. Reports of ghostly footsteps, strange noises, and unexplained shadows beneath certain areas of the park fuel speculation that the subterranean world is not entirely abandoned, while skeptics argue that the phenomena can be explained by acoustics, wind currents, or maintenance activity. The stories persist, drawing curious visitors and urban explorers alike. In recent years, archaeologists and historians have occasionally conducted investigations into the park's underground structures, uncovering remnants of stonework, drainage systems, and small chambers whose original purpose is difficult to determine. Even when findings are documented, gaps remain, allowing imagination to flourish. Maps created for park maintenance often omit many of the older, abandoned tunnels, leaving their connections and full extent unknown. This secrecy adds to the allure, making the tunnels both a historical curiosity and a source of eerie fascination. Despite the mystery, most visitors to Central Park never think about what lies beneath their feet. Families stroll, joggers run, and tourists take photographs, all unaware of the hidden network of passageways that may snake beneath their paths. for those who are aware. However, the tunnels carry a sense of adventure, danger, and history, as though the park itself contains secret layers of the city's story, waiting to be discovered by the few who seek them out. Whether used by bootleggers, secret societies, or simply as utility corridors, the secret tunnels beneath Central Park remain an enigmatic part of the park's history. Their hidden entrances, abandoned chambers, and whispered tales evoke a sense of wonder and unease, suggesting that the park's story is far deeper than its lawns, trees, and lakes alone. They remind us that beneath even the most familiar and peaceful places, there can be worlds unseen, full of mystery, history, and echoes of lives lived long ago. Bethesda Terrace, located at the heart of Central Park, is celebrated for its architectural beauty, intricate carvings, and iconic fountain. By day, it is a lively gathering place, with tourists, families, and street performers filling the space with energy and laughter. But as night falls, the terrace transforms. The crowds dissipate. The fountain's waters reflect the soft glow of nearby lamps, and a hush descends over the stone steps and mosaic walkways. In this quiet, some visitors have reported encounters that go beyond the ordinary ghostly figures that seem to glide across the terrace and around the fountain, leaving a lingering sense of mystery in their wake. The most commonly reported apparition is that of a woman, often described as ethereal and translucent, drifting near the edge of the fountain. Witnesses describe her in flowing attire, reminiscent of the early 20th century. Though the details vary, her presence is subtle but unmistakable, a shimmer of movement, a faint outline against the stonework, or a shadow that moves independently of the trees and structures. She is said to appear most often during the late hours, when the terrace is deserted and the air is cool. Some who have seen her note that she seems absorbed in contemplation, gazing into the fountain's waters or walking slowly along the terrace steps, as if tracing a path she has followed countless times before. Accounts of the specter often include sensations that heighten the encounter. Visitors have reported sudden chills, a feeling of being watched, or the soft sound of footsteps echoing across the terrace when no one else is present. Others recall hearing faint murmurs or whispers, almost like fragments of conversation, carried on the night air. The effect is subtle but persistent, enough to leave a visitor uneasy or profoundly moved. Some theorize that these experiences are residual, echoes of moments long past imprinted on the space itself. Others suggest the figure may be a conscious spirit, lingering with awareness of those who witnessed her presence. Bethesda Terrace has a long history. Completed in 1873 as part of the original design of Central Park by Frederick Law Olmsted and Calvert Vaux. Its two-level structure, adorned with ornate carvings, detailed balustrades, and the famous Minton tile ceiling, provides a grand yet intimate setting. The terrace's architecture may play a role in the reported hauntings. Its alcoves and archways create shadows and recesses that seem to move with the light, and the acoustics can carry sounds in unexpected ways, amplifying footsteps or whispers. Many believe that the design, intentional or not, enhances the sense that the space is alive even when empty, making it a perfect stage for encounters with the supernatural. Some witnesses claim that the apparition seems to be drawn to the fountain itself. Bethesda Fountain, with its central angel of the water statue, symbolizes purity, healing, and the essence of life. Those who have experienced a ghostly presence suggest that the figure interacts with the fountain in subtle ways, pausing by its edge, appearing to trace patterns in the air above the water, or seeming to watch the rippling surface with quiet intensity. It is as though the fountain is a focal point, a spiritual center for the apparition, connecting her to the space in a way that is both physical and metaphysical. The terrace's nighttime atmosphere further amplifies its haunting quality. When the city's lights dim and traffic noise fades, the terrace becomes almost otherworldly. Shadows stretch across the stone steps, leaves rustle without wind, and the reflection of the fountain's water seems to shimmer with movement that doesn't match the environment. Visitors walking alone often describe an uncanny sense of being accompanied, a fleeting presence just out of view, or a momentary glimpse of a figure disappearing around a corner. In some cases, this presence is described as comforting, like a silent guardian of the park. In others, it evokes unease, as though the figure belongs to another time entirely. Stories of the specter have persisted for decades. Park employees, maintenance staff, and late-night visitors have all shared accounts of seeing a figure near the fountain or on the terrace steps. These encounters vary, but certain elements remain consistent. The ethereal female form, the focus on the fountain, and the quiet, reflective demeanor. Photographs occasionally capture anomalous faint shapes, blurry figures, or shadows that appear unnaturally human, but the elusive nature of the specter means that clear evidence is rare. These fleeting glimpses only add to the terrace's mystique. Legends surrounding the ghost vary. Some believe she was a resident of New York City from a bygone era, perhaps someone who frequented the park or had a connection to the fountain itself. Others speculate that she may represent a symbolic presence rather than an individual, a lingering echo of grief, love, or memory embedded within the terrace. Regardless of origin, the reported encounters leave a lasting impression, creating an aura of mystery that enhances the terrace's nighttime charm. For those willing to linger after dark, the experience of walking Bethesda Terrace can be both haunting and beautiful. The intricate carvings, the sound of flowing water, and the occasional shimmer of an apparition create a space where history, architecture, and legend converge. Many visitors leave with a sense of wonder, touched by the feeling that they have glimpsed something beyond the ordinary, a presence that has remained with the terrace for generations. Silent, but ever watchful, Bethesda Terrace continues to captivate not just for its beauty, but for the stories that surround it. The ghostly figure at the fountain has become part of Central Park lore, a spectral presence that transforms a familiar space into something mysterious and alive. For those who encounter her, even fleetingly, the terrace is no longer simply a landmark. It is a place where the past whispers through the stones, and the spirit of the park seems to linger, immortalized, in the quiet glow of the fountain and the enduring elegance of its architecture. Belvedere Castle, perched atop Vista Rock in the heart of Central Park, is celebrated for its stunning architecture and panoramic views of the park and city beyond. Its medieval-inspired turrets, stone walls, and elevated position make it one of the park's most photographed landmarks. But for all its beauty and charm, the castle has long been associated with something far less tangible: ghostly sightings, most notably of the enigmatic Lady in White. This mysterious figure has captured the imagination of park visitors for decades, particularly on misty evenings when the castle takes on a spectral aura. The Lady in White is typically described as a tall, graceful figure, dressed in flowing white garments that seem to glow faintly in the moonlight or through the haze of fog. Witnesses often report seeing her walking slowly along the castle's terraces or lingering near the stone parapets, her gaze fixed on the park below, as if she is watching over it. She moves with a calm, deliberate elegance, her presence both ethereal and unmistakable. Those who have encountered her describe a sense of awe, often accompanied by an inexplicable chill or the sensation of being observed by unseen eyes. Though her identity is shrouded in mystery, many speculate that she is connected to the castle's history. Belvedere Castle was completed in 1869, designed by Calvert Vaux and Jacob Ray Mould as a fanciful lookout and observation point within the park. It served both functional and ornamental purposes, offering panoramic views of the park's landscapes and acting as a weather station for the city. Some theorists suggest that the Lady in White may have been someone associated with the castle during its earliest years, a caretaker, visitor, or even a resident of the surrounding area whose life ended tragically or prematurely. Her lingering presence is thought by some to be a reflection of unfinished business or a deep attachment to the castle and its grounds. Accounts of the Lady in White are remarkably consistent over time. Visitors frequently report seeing her during twilight or at night, when the mist drifts through the castle's terraces and the park is cloaked in silence. She is seldom seen in daylight, although occasional sightings have been recorded during foggy mornings. Those who observe her often notice that she seems entirely unaware of their presence, as though moving in a different dimension or along a timeline separate from the living. Some have even reported brief interactions, a whispered word carried on the wind, a fleeting glance from a window, but attempts to communicate are almost always met with silence. The castle's architecture enhances the haunting quality of these sightings. Its turrets, archways, and staircases create shadows and angles that play tricks on the eye, amplifying the sense of mystery. Fog or mist further blurs the line between reality and apparition, making it easy for the imagination to fill in gaps. Even those familiar with the castle's layout report a strange disorientation during encounters, as though the lady in white exists slightly out of phase with the physical world. Witnesses often describe accompanying sensations that make the experience feel tangible. A sudden drop in temperature, a soft rustling of fabric, or the faint echo of footsteps on stone can precede her appearance. Some report a feeling of calm, as if the lady in white is a guardian watching over the castle and its visitors. Others experience an unsettling emotional pull, a mixture of awe and melancholy, suggesting that her presence carries the weight of a story left untold. These experiences are rarely frightening in the traditional sense, but they leave a lasting impression, making it difficult for observers to forget the encounter. Local lore and urban legends surrounding the lady in white vary. Some believe she was a young woman who frequented the castle when it served as a social or leisure space, perhaps someone who wandered the terraces in reflective solitude. Others suggest a more tragic narrative, that she was a visitor who suffered an accident near the castle, leaving her spirit tethered to the place where she met her untimely fate. While no historical records confirm these theories, the persistence of sightings over more than a century has cemented her as a fixture of Central Park's haunted lore. Belvedere Castle itself has seen many transformations over the years, from a lookout point and weather station to its current role as a visitor center and informal museum. Yet, through all these changes, the lady in white appears undeterred, continuing her silent vigil. Maintenance staff, tour guides, and nighttime park visitors alike have occasionally recounted experiences consistent with long-standing reports, whether standing near the parapet, walking across the terrace, or vanishing into the mist. Her presence seems independent of human activity or awareness, suggesting that she belongs entirely to the castle and its history. Paranormal enthusiasts are drawn to Belvedere Castle not only for its scenic beauty, but also for the chance to witness the lady in white, while skeptics argue that atmospheric conditions, shadows, and imagination play a role in sightings. The consistency of eyewitness accounts keeps the legend alive. Photographs occasionally capture anomalies, blurs, or faint figures near windows or terraces, but the elusive nature of the lady in white means that proof is fleeting, and her mystery remains intact. For those who encounter her, the lady in white becomes more than a ghost story. She is a presence that connects the past to the present. Her figure embodies the history of Belvedere Castle, the passage of time, and the enduring fascination with the unseen. Visitors often leave the castle with a sense of wonder, touched by the experience, and haunted by the idea that history, memory, and spirit can converge in a single, ethereal form. Belvedere Castle continues to enchant visitors with its views, architecture, and hidden stories, but it is the lady in white who transforms it into a place of legend. On misty evenings, when the wind rustles through the stone turrets and the park below is quiet, she can be glimpsed, moving across the terraces, a figure of elegance and mystery, forever watching, forever part of the castle she seems never to leave. The Ramble, nestled in the heart of Central Park, is a sprawling, densely wooded area designed to evoke the feeling of a natural forest. Winding paths twist among towering trees, hidden rock formations, and shaded groves, creating an atmosphere that feels removed from the city's bustling streets. By day, it is a peaceful retreat where birdwatchers, hikers, and nature enthusiasts can wander quietly among the foliage. But as evening descends, the Ramble transforms. The twisting paths, thick canopy, and deep shadows give the area an air of mystery. And over the years, visitors have reported experiences that suggest the presence of something otherworldly. The ghost of the Ramble. Encounters with the ghost are often subtle at first, Walkers report hearing whispers carried on the wind, indistinct voices that seem to come from all directions at once. Some have paused mid-step, convinced someone is following them, only to turn and find the path empty. Footsteps echo behind them, yet when they glance over their shoulder, there is no one there. Others speak of fleeting shapes glimpsed between the trees, dark human-like silhouettes that vanish when approached, leaving only the feeling that they are being watched. The ghost of the Ramble is said to be tied to the area's history, though much of that history has been obscured by time. The Ramble has long been a place of solitude and secrecy. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, it was known as a secluded spot for private gatherings, clandestine meetings, and occasional illicit activities. Stories circulate of lovers meeting in hidden alcoves, of travelers lost in the twisting paths, and of tragic events that went unrecorded. Some believe that these past events have left an imprint on the land, manifesting as the spectral presence that many visitors report today. Sightings are most commonly described as shadowy figures, often glimpsed at the edge of vision. Witnesses describe the shapes as vaguely human, but lacking definitive features, moving silently among the trees. Sometimes the figure appears to be following, maintaining a careful distance, yet disappearing when the observer turns fully toward it. Others report seeing figures pause, standing motionless in a clearing or atop a low rock formation, only to vanish when approached. These encounters leave a lingering sense of unease, as though the forest itself is alive and aware of those who traverse its paths. Sound plays a significant role in the haunting. Beyond whispers and footsteps, visitors have reported hearing laughter that seems to belong to no one, rustling leaves in areas where the wind does not reach, and faint cries echoing through the dense trees. The sounds are often described as coming from multiple directions at once, making it difficult to pinpoint their source. Some theorists suggest these are residual echoes, remnants of conversations and events that took place in the Ramble long ago. Others believe the sounds are more than echoes. They are the conscious actions of a spirit or spirits, actively inhabiting the area. Many who venture into the Ramble at night speak of an intense sense of being observed. The shadows between trees seem to shift with a life of their own, and the dim moonlight filtering through the branches can create shapes that seem deliberately formed. Visitors often describe feeling a chill, even in warm weather, as though a presence has drawn near. Some recount sudden drops in temperature in specific clearings or along certain paths, moments that coincide with the appearance of shadowy figures. These experiences are rarely violent, but they leave a lasting impression of unease and curiosity. The legend of the Ramble ghost has been passed down through generations of New Yorkers and park visitors. Stories abound of couples who felt an invisible hand brush their shoulder, joggers who sensed a presence pacing alongside them in the dark, and hikers who paused mid-path, convinced that unseen eyes followed their every movement. While skeptics attribute many of these experiences to imagination, the dense layout, natural acoustics, and shifting light patterns of the Ramble make it an ideal setting for eerie phenomena. Yet even those familiar with the area report moments when the inexplicable cannot be dismissed so easily. The ghost's presence seems drawn not only to the isolated paths, but to landmarks within the Ramble itself. Hidden alcoves, rocky outcrops, and small bridges over babbling streams are frequent sites of reported sightings. Many witnesses describe the spectral figure appearing near these landmarks, as if connected to their history or significance. These recurring patterns suggest a consciousness tied to specific locations, reinforcing the idea that the ghost is more than a fleeting illusion. Despite the haunting reputation, the Ramble continues to attract visitors, many of whom are drawn precisely by its air of mystery. Photographers, urban explorers, and paranormal enthusiasts come seeking the thrill of encountering the ghost. While definitive proof remains elusive, accounts remain consistent. Whispers, shadows, and a palpable sense of presence that sets the Ramble apart from other areas of the park. Some leave offerings, small tokens, or notes, hoping to honor or appease the lingering spirit, while others simply walk in quiet reverence, aware that they are sharing the space with something unseen. The Ramble's ghost is a reminder of Central Park's layered history, where natural beauty and human activity intertwine with the unknown. It embodies the park's hidden stories, the private moments, the tragedies, and the events long forgotten. For those who encounter it, even fleetingly, the ghost of the Ramble transforms a familiar setting into a space where time seems to fold, and the past can be felt in the present. The shadowy figure in the trees, the whispers on the wind, the fleeting glimpses and eerie sounds all combine to make the Ramble one of Central Park's most haunted corners. It is a place where visitors can sense the unseen, feel the weight of history, and experience the lingering presence of the past. The ghost of the Ramble remains patient and watchful, a silent guardian of the park's mysteries, forever entwined with the winding paths, dense foliage, and hidden corners of this enigmatic woodland. Tavern on the Green, nestled in the heart of Central Park, is celebrated as one of New York City's most iconic dining establishments. Its sprawling interior, twinkling lights, and lush surrounding gardens make it a favorite for tourists and locals alike. By day, the restaurant buzzes with laughter, clinking glasses, and the murmur of conversations. Yet beneath its festive charm lies a different, darker story, a reputation for paranormal activity that has intrigued and unsettled visitors for decades. Many believe that Tavern on the Green is haunted, its halls echoing with the presence of spirits from its storied past. Reports of strange occurrences have persisted for years, ranging from subtle sensations to unmistakable apparitions. Patrons and staff alike have claimed to hear the faint sounds of conversations in empty rooms, the clatter of dishes when no one is nearby, or the soft, ghostly footsteps of someone moving across the polished floors. Some employees insist that the building itself seems alive at times, reacting to unseen presences with flickering lights, cold drafts, and doors that open or close without explanation. Even the most skeptical visitors often find themselves pausing in unease when they notice shadows moving at the edge of their vision or feel the sudden sensation of being watched. Among the most commonly reported phenomena are ghostly apparitions. Many witnesses describe seeing figures dressed in vintage clothing, moving silently through the dining areas or along the hallways. Some appear to be former patrons, seated at tables with a spectral glass of wine, while others resemble staff from decades past, quietly performing their duties even though the restaurant is empty. These figures are often described as translucent and faintly glowing, with their presence felt more than seen in vivid detail. Guests who have encountered them report a chilling mix of awe and trepidation, as though glimpsing a fragment of history frozen in time. The origins of these hauntings are often traced to the restaurant's long history. Tavern on the Green was first established in 1934, and over the years it has hosted countless events, from elegant dinners to bustling parties. In its early days, it employed numerous staff members who dedicated their lives to the restaurant, sometimes to the point of exhaustion. Tragedies, accidents, and sudden deaths are rumored to have occurred within its walls, leaving lingering impressions that some believe have manifested as spirits. The idea that former employees continue to haunt the restaurant, performing their duties in the afterlife, is a recurring theme in many accounts. The building's architecture and atmosphere may contribute to the eerie sensations reported. Its high ceilings, ornate chandeliers, and expansive dining rooms create spaces where sounds carry in unexpected ways. Shadows stretch across corners, and reflections in the large windows and mirrors can create the illusion of movement. Combined with the dim lighting and the quiet moments between service, the environment is naturally conducive to feelings of unease. Yet even with these explanations, the consistency of sightings and experiences keeps the legend alive, suggesting that there may be more than mere trickery of light and sound at play. Some staff members have shared particularly unsettling experiences. Servers report seeing chairs pulled out or tables set as though someone invisible had just prepared them. Bartenders have felt phantom touches on their shoulders or heard glasses clinking when no one is near. Cleaning crews occasionally discover that items are displaced or slightly moved, with no logical explanation. These experiences are often brief, fleeting, and inexplicable, leaving witnesses questioning what they had just perceived. While some dismiss these occurrences as imagination or fatigue, the frequency and similarity of accounts make them difficult to ignore entirely. Guests have also reported interactions with these unseen presences. Some claim to have felt a cold brush of air, a gentle hand on their arm, or the subtle sensation of being guided, as if the spirits were offering invisible assistance. Others describe hearing faint whispers of encouragement, laughter, or even requests, suggesting that the ghosts are not malicious, but are replaying moments from their lives in the restaurant. One story tells of a diner who felt a chair move slightly under them, only to glance up and see the shadowy outline of a server gliding past before disappearing into a wall. The combination of physical sensation and visual anomaly reinforces the sense that the spirits are actively inhabiting the space. Tavern on the Green's haunted reputation has become an intrinsic part of its allure. Some visitors seek out the restaurant specifically to experience its paranormal activity, hoping to catch a glimpse of an apparition or feel the presence of the past. Paranormal enthusiasts and tour guides include the restaurant in stories of the city's haunted history, emphasizing the layers of memory, tragedy, and lingering spirits embedded in its walls. Even for those who do not believe in ghosts, the tales add a sense of mystery and enchantment to the experience of dining there, transforming a simple meal into a journey into history and the unknown. The combination of architectural grandeur, historical significance, and eerie occurrences makes Tavern on the Green a unique location where the past and present intersect. The ghostly figures, unexplained sounds, and sudden chills create a tangible connection to the restaurant's history, reminding visitors that every space carries memories of those who once occupied it. While some spirits may be playful or benign, others convey a weight of nostalgia or unfinished business, lending the building an atmosphere both haunting and poignant. Ultimately, the ghostly presence at Tavern on the Green is less about fear and more about the enduring impact of the past on the present. The spirits of former patrons and employees continue to linger, silently observing, gently interacting, and leaving their mark on the restaurant's ambience. For those who visit, the experience is unforgettably reminder that even in the heart of a bustling city, the echoes of history remain, whispering through the clinking glasses, laughter, and quiet corners of this legendary establishment. The Dakota Building, standing majestically on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, is one of New York City's most iconic residential landmarks. Completed in 1884, its distinctive Renaissance Revival architecture, ornate balconies, and imposing facade have made it a symbol of elegance and history. Yet beyond its aesthetic appeal and celebrity residence, the Dakota is steeped in stories of the supernatural. Over the decades, numerous residents, visitors, and even delivery personnel have reported unsettling experiences, giving rise to the legend of the ghosts of the Dakota. Among these spirits, the most famous is the woman in Victorian attire, a figure who has captivated the imaginations of all who have glimpsed her. Sightings of the woman are often reported along the upper floors, where she is seen standing silently by the windows, gazing out over Central Park. Witnesses describe her as wearing a long, flowing dress, typical of the late 19th century, complete with delicate lace and high collar. Her hair is usually described as neatly pinned, and her expression carries a quiet melancholy, as though she is lost in memories of another era. She appears almost ethereal, slightly translucent, and she often vanishes if approached, leaving only the faint impression that someone had been standing there moments before. Many who have seen the ghost report an immediate shift in the atmosphere. A sense of stillness often descends, accompanied by a subtle chill in the air. Some claim to feel a presence in the room, as though the woman is aware of their gaze, and yet chooses not to interact directly. Others describe hearing soft sounds coinciding with her appearance. The rustle of fabric, the faint click of heels on a floor, or a whisper that fades as quickly as it arrives. These experiences are rarely frightening in a violent sense. Instead, they are often hauntingly beautiful, tinged with nostalgia and sadness. The origins of the ghostly woman remain speculative. Some historians suggest she may have been one of the Dakota's earliest residents, perhaps a socialite or young bride who lived in the building during its formative years. Tragic events, accidents, illness, or sudden death were not uncommon in the late 19th century, and it is thought that such an occurrence may have tethered her spirit to the building. Others speculate that she could represent a composite figure, embodying the collective memories of the Dakota's past residents, preserved in the very walls and windows of the structure. Whatever her identity, the sightings are remarkably consistent, and they contribute to the Dakota's reputation as one of Manhattan's most haunted residences. The building's architecture seems to amplify the supernatural phenomena. Its high ceilings, long hallways, and large windows create dramatic light and shadow effects that can make glimpses of the ghost appear all the more vivid. The echoing of footsteps along the wooden floors can carry in unexpected ways, giving the impression that someone is moving through the halls when no one is present. Even the wind, funneled through the facade's intricate detailing, can produce soft sighs that resemble whispers. While some of these elements have mundane explanations, they serve to reinforce the aura of mystery and make the experiences of witnesses all the more convincing. Residents and visitors have reported additional paranormal phenomena. Beyond sightings of the Victorian woman, some have experienced sudden temperature drops in otherwise warm rooms, objects subtly shifting on shelves, and doors opening or closing on their own. Shadows are frequently noticed at the periphery of vision, disappearing when directly looked at. A few long-term tenants claim that these occurrences are tied to particular apartments or hallways, suggesting that the building itself holds a memory, echoing the lives and events of its past occupants. Over the years, stories of the Dakota's ghosts have become intertwined with its more famous residents. The murder of John Lennon in 1980, outside the building, added another layer to its mystique, with some suggesting that his spiritor, the collective grief surrounding him, may have contributed to the building's lingering supernatural presence. Yet the Victorian woman remains the central figure in the Dakota's ghost lore. Her appearances, always quiet and contemplative, evoke the building's long history, connecting its modern inhabitants with the ghosts of a bygone era. The consistency of accounts suggests that these experiences are not merely imagination or coincidence. Visitors who have heard about the legend often report their own encounters, whether seeing a glimpse of a white dress in the window or feeling the sudden presence of someone in an empty room. Tour guides and paranormal enthusiasts include the Dakota in walking tours of New York's haunted locations, emphasizing the weight of history, architecture, and tragedy that makes the building a magnet for ghostly activity. Even skeptics admit that the combination of the building's age, atmosphere, and consistent reports makes the phenomenon intriguing and difficult to ignore entirely. For those who live in or visit the Dakota, the ghostly presence adds a unique layer to their experience. It serves as a reminder of the passage of time and the stories that accumulate within a place, where architecture, memory, and human experience converge. Encounters with the Victorian woman are not typically frightening, but they are profound moments in which the veil between past and present seems too thin, and the building's history becomes tangible. Ultimately, the ghost of the Dakota building is more than a mere tale of haunting. It is a testament to the enduring power of memory and presence. The woman in Victorian attire embodies the spirit of the building itself, a silent witness to decades of change, joy, and sorrow. For those who catch a glimpse of her, she leaves an indelible impression, a sense that the Dakota is alive not only with its current inhabitants, but with the echoes of the lives that came before. In the quiet of a moonlit evening, when the lights of Central Park glimmer and the city hums in the distance, the Victorian woman continues her eternal vigil, gazing from her window, a ghostly sentinel over the history and heart of one of New York City's most storied buildings. Bethesda Terrace, one of Central Park's most celebrated landmarks, is renowned for its breathtaking architecture, sweeping staircases, and, most famously, the Angel of the Water statue that crowns the central fountain. Created in 1868 by Emma Stebbins, the statue depicts an elegant angel holding a lily, symbolizing purity and the healing powers of water. By day, the terrace is a hub of tourists, families, and street performers, all drawn to its beauty and grandeur. Yet beneath its picturesque surface lies a story far more mysterious, one that has intrigued visitors for generations: the legend of the mysterious angel of Bethesda Terrace. Over the years, countless witnesses have reported unusual experiences near the Angel of the Waters. Some claim to feel a sudden, inexplicable calm when standing before the statue, as if a gentle presence has enveloped them. Others describe fleeting glimmers of movement around the angel's subtle shifts in the light, or the faint impression of wings fluttering, though no wind stirs. Tourists and locals alike speak of moments when the fountainous waters seem to respond in unusual ways, rippling gently even when the breeze is absent. These phenomena are often subtle, almost imperceptible, yet they leave a lasting impression on those who encounter them. Perhaps the most common reports involve the sensation of being watched or guided. Visitors have recounted stories of lost children who, inexplicably, found their way back to their parents after standing near the angel. Couples who are uncertain about the path ahead in their relationship describe a sudden clarity or reassurance when sitting on the terrace steps. Some artists claim to have found inspiration flowing unbidden when they sketch or paint near the fountain, as though the angel itself imbued them with creativity. Skeptics attribute these experiences to the statue's beauty, its serene posture, and the psychological power of a historic landmark. Yet the frequency and consistency of these reports suggests something more enigmatic. One of the most enduring legends concerns the statue's purported protective qualities. Several visitors have reported moments of near accidents, tripping over uneven stones, losing control of bicycles, or nearly falling into the fountain only to be mysteriously halted or redirected by an unseen force. Some describe a gentle touch on the shoulder or a subtle shift in weight that prevents them from harm, as if an invisible guardian intervened. These accounts, often shared quietly among friends or on social media, add a layer of reverence and awe to the already majestic terrace. The origins of these supernatural claims are difficult to trace. The Angel of the Waters was designed to commemorate the opening of the Croton Aqueduct, which brought fresh water to the city and helped combat disease. Its creation was a symbol of health, hope, and renewal, concepts that may have contributed to the perception of the statue as more than mere stone and bronze. Some theorists suggest that the angel has absorbed the hopes, fears, and prayers of countless visitors over the decades, creating a subtle but powerful spiritual presence. Others believe that the artist herself may have imbued the work with a unique energy, intentionally crafting the statue to radiate calm and guidance. Witnesses often describe encounters that seem personal, almost tailored to their circumstances. Tourists who are grieving the loss of a loved one report feeling a comforting warmth or hearing whispers of encouragement when sitting near the fountain. Young students, overwhelmed by the chaos of the city or the pressures of school, claim to sense a gentle presence offering reassurance and strength. Even longtime park visitors occasionally speak of seeing a faint shimmer around the statue during quiet mornings, as if the angel is moving ever so slightly, bending light in ways that defy explanation. Though the Angel of the Waters has never been proven to be haunted in the traditional sense, the accounts of mysterious experiences are strikingly consistent. They often occur in moments of solitude, when the park is nearly empty, the early morning mist still clinging to the trees, and the sound of city traffic is distant. In these quiet hours, the terrace takes on an almost sacred atmosphere, and the angel seems to exist not merely as sculpture, but as a presence that interacts subtly with those who approach. Some visitors claim that they have left messages or small offerings at the base of the fountain, hoping to honor or communicate with the angel, and many report feeling a sense of acknowledgement in return. Even at night, when the terrace is largely empty, unusual phenomena continue. Some late-night joggers and park security personnel describe sudden drops in temperature near the fountain, accompanied by the faint scent of lilies, despite no flowers being present. Shadows are said to shift unnaturally under the moonlight, and the gentle splash of water can sometimes sound like whispered words. While such experiences are rare and subjective, they contribute to the Angel of the Waters' reputation as an enigmatic figure capable of inspiring awe and wonder long after her sculptor first brought her to life. The legend of the mysterious angel of Bethesda Terrace reflects a human desire to connect with something greater than ourselves. Visitors sense not only the history of Central Park, but also a subtle spiritual presence that transcends time. Whether the experiences are products of perception, memory, or something more mystical, they have become an intrinsic part of the terrace's identity. Tour guides, writers, and locals often recount these stories, ensuring that the angel's reputation as a mysterious and protective figure endures. For those who visit Bethesda Terrace, the Angel of the Waters is more than a statue. She is a symbol of beauty, hope, and inexplicable mystery. The stories of sudden guidance, whispered encouragement, and subtle interventions have transformed a simple fountain into a sight of wonder and quiet reverence. Even in the heart of bustling Manhattan, where life moves fast and the city never sleeps, the angel remains a serene and enigmatic presence, watching over visitors and offering a sense of connection to something beyond the ordinary. The Dakota Building, perched elegantly on Manhattan's Upper West Side, is more than just an architectural marvel. It is a living repository of stories, history, and, for some, the supernatural. Completed in 1884, this Renaissance Revival masterpiece boasts intricately carved stone facades, ornate balconies, and a commanding presence overlooking Central Park. While it has been home to generations of New Yorkers, including the legendary John Lennon, the Dakota has gained a reputation not only for its grandeur, but also for the spectral presence that some insist still lingers within its walls. Among these ghostly tales, the most enduring is that of a woman in Victorian attire, whose apparitions have captivated and unsettled both residents and visitors alike. Accounts of the Dakota's ghostly woman are remarkably consistent. Those who have encountered her often describe a figure standing by one of the building's upper-floor windows, gazing intently out over Central Park. She is said to be dressed in the fashion of the late 19th century, a long, flowing gown with delicate lace trimmings, her hair neatly pinned in a style appropriate for the era. Witnesses report her demeanor as serene yet melancholic, as though she is caught between two worlds, part of the present yet tethered irrevocably to a past that no longer exists. She is usually motionless, her gaze fixed on the part below, and she vanishes without warning when approached, leaving behind an eerie stillness in the room. The atmosphere surrounding the apparition is often described as simultaneously beautiful and unsettling. Visitors who glimpse her report feeling a subtle drop in temperature, a quiet that descends over the space, and an almost tangible sense of being observed. Some hear faint whispers or the soft rustle of fabric, though no one else is present. Others describe the feeling of a presence brushing past them, a weight in the air that is difficult to explain. The experiences are rarely violent or threatening, yet they leave a profound impression, a haunting reminder that the Dakota is not merely a building of stone and wood, but a vessel for lingering memories and spirits. The origins of the woman's ghost remain a subject of speculation. Some historians and paranormal enthusiasts suggest she may have been one of the Dakota's earliest residents, perhaps a young socialite or bride who met a tragic fate within the building. Sudden illness, accident, or heartbreak may have anchored her spirit, compelling her to remain tethered to the home she cherished. Others theorize that she represents a composite of many former residents, an amalgamation of sorrow, longing, and memory preserved in the fabric of the building itself. Regardless of her origin, the consistency of the sightings across decades suggests that her presence is more than a fleeting figment of imagination. The Dakota's architectural features seem to enhance the spectral phenomena. Its high ceilings, expansive windows, and long hallways create dramatic play of light and shadow that can make glimpses of the woman appear startlingly real. Wooden floors creak in ways that amplify the sensation of movement, and reflections in the windows or mirrors occasionally give the impression of a figure standing just out of reach. Even in the bustling city outside, the building's interior can feel almost frozen in time, as though the Dakota itself preserves the era in which the ghost lived. These atmospheric elements, combined with the stories passed down by witnesses, have cemented the building's reputation as one of New York's most haunted residences. Residents of the Dakota have shared countless experiences. Some report seeing the ghostly woman during quiet, late-night hours when the building is nearly empty. Longtime tenants have spoken of lights flickering inexplicably near her sightings, or doors opening and closing without cause. Others have felt an almost maternal presence, a comforting sensation, or even gentle guidance when navigating the historic hallways, but memorable encounters, reinforcing the idea that the Dakota's ghost is a constant, if subtle, presence in the building. The tragedy of John Lennon's death outside the Dakota in 1980 adds another layer to the building's mystique. Some believe that the collective grief, emotional energy, and memories surrounding Lennon's life and death have intensified the Dakota's spectral reputation. Yet the Victorian woman remains central to the lore, a quiet, contemplative figure whose appearances bridge the gap between the past and present. Witnesses often describe her as watching not only over the park but over the lives within the building, a sentinel preserved in time. Paranormal investigators and enthusiasts frequently include the Dakota in New York's haunted tours, highlighting the eerie consistency of the sightings and the building's long history. Visitors report that learning about the ghost before their encounter heightens their awareness, making them more attuned to subtle shifts in temperature, faint sounds, or movements at the edge of their vision. Even skeptics, confronted with the multitude of similar accounts spanning decades, often admit a lingering sense of unease or curiosity after visiting the building. The Victorian woman of the Dakota building is more than a ghost story. She is a symbol of the city's layered history. She embodies the passage of time, the memories of those who lived and died within the building, and the enduring connection between the living and the departed. Her presence is quiet, yet profound, leaving visitors with a sense that the Dakota is not merely an architectural landmark, but a living chronicle of human experience. Ultimately, the ghost of the Dakota reminds all who glimpse her that even in the heart of a bustling metropolis, the past remains close, watching and waiting. Her figure at the window, gazing across Central Park, serves as a silent witness to generations of life, loss, and memory. For those who encounter her, the experience is haunting yet strangely comforting, a reminder that some spirits, bound by love, sorrow, or longing, continue to linger where they once belonged, their presence forever etched into the heart of one of New York City's most storied buildings. At the southern end of Central Park, where the sun rises over quiet waters and morning mist lingers like a soft veil, lies Conservatory Water, a small, serene pond often called the Model Boat Pond. During the day, children sail miniature boats, tourists stroll along its edges, and the park hums with life. Yet for those who wander the pond in the early hours, when fog rolls across the surface and the city seems distant, there is a story that haunts the stillness, a tale of the enigmatic lady in the lake. Witnesses describe her as a woman dressed in a flowing, white gown, standing motionless at the water's edge, her gaze fixed upon the depths. Her figure is ethereal, almost translucent, as though she were a living reflection of the mist itself. The white of her dress seems to glow faintly against the gray morning fog, making her presence both beautiful and unnerving. She does not move, speak, or acknowledge those who come near. When approached, she simply vanishes into the haze, leaving behind only the ripples in the water and an unsettling sense that someone or something was watching. The origin of the lady in the lake remains shrouded in mystery. Some believe she is the ghost of a woman who drowned in the pond many years ago, her life cut tragically short by accident or despair. Others suggest she may have been a visitor to the park, a young woman who suffered heartbreak or loss, forever tethered to the spot where her sorrow reached its deepest point. Over the decades, her story has blended with legend and imagination, and though no records definitively account for her life or death, her presence continues to be felt by those who traverse the foggy paths near Conservatory Water. Many who claim to have seen the lady report more than a fleeting image. They speak of a coldness in the air, a subtle chill that rises even on warm mornings, as if the pond itself has absorbed the weight of her sorrow. The water sometimes ripples gently without wind, almost as if responding to her gaze. Some visitors describe hearing faint sobs or the soft rustle of fabric, sounds that vanish the moment they try to pinpoint their source. These subtle phenomena create an atmosphere thick with unease, one that makes the familiar surroundings of the park feel strange and otherworldly. The lady in the lake has been spotted under a variety of conditions, but misty mornings remain the most common. As the fog drifts over the pond and the city skyline blurs into the sky, her figure appears almost as a part of nature itself, blending with the soft gray tones and reflections in the water. Early joggers, dog walkers, and photographers often report the same sensation. A quiet pause in the world, a moment when time feels suspended, and the lady seems to be staring not just at the water but through it, as though searching for something lost beneath the surface. Those who have tried to approach her often recount a surreal experience. Some claim that as they step closer, the fog thickens, obscuring their vision, until the figure disappears entirely. Others report a sudden feeling of vertigo or disorientation, a sense that the ground beneath their feet has shifted. In rare cases, witnesses have said they caught only a fleeting glimpse of her face, pale and expressionless, before she dissolved back into the mist. These experiences are described as both terrifying and strangely captivating, leaving a lingering sense of wonder long after the apparition has vanished. The legend of the lady in the lake has inspired countless stories, each adding to the mystery. Some believe she is searching for a lost love, perhaps a man who drowned alongside her or disappeared elsewhere in the park. Others suggest she is drawn to the countless boats that float on the pond, reminders of children, families, and fleeting moments of happiness she can never experience herself. Regardless of the theory, the essence of her presence is that of longing and loss. A spirit caught between the world of the living and the unseen. Visitors have occasionally left small tokens near the water's edge, perhaps unconsciously acknowledging her presence. Flowers, trinkets, or handwritten notes sometimes appear where the lady is seen, though whether these offerings are noticed by the apparition is unknown. The act of leaving something behind speaks to the human desire to connect with the mysterious, to reach across the veil that separates the living from the spectral. Even those who do not see her often feel her influence. The morning fog seems heavier, the pond quieter, and an unexplainable stillness settles over the area. Photographers attempting to capture the lake report that cameras malfunction or images appear distorted, with faint white shapes where none should exist. Joggers and park employees alike describe a subtle sense of being watched, a quiet unease that vanishes once they leave the area. It is as though the lady's presence extends beyond sight, affecting those nearby in ways that cannot be quantified. The enigmatic lady in the lake is not a threat in the traditional sense. She does not chase, attack, or speak harshly. Instead, she represents a haunting of emotion, a reminder of tragedy, memory, and longing. Her presence transforms a familiar part of Central Park into a liminal space, a threshold between the ordinary and the supernatural, where the past and present intertwine and the boundaries between life and spirit feel delicate and permeable. In the early hours of misty mornings, when the city is quiet and the first light reflects off the water, those who walk along Conservatory Water may feel the weight of history, the ripple of the pond, and the quiet gaze of the lady in white. She remains a figure of sorrow and mystery, forever searching, forever waiting, an enigmatic sentinel at the edge of the lake, a ghostly presence woven into the fabric of Central Park. The North Woods, a secluded and shadowed corner of Central Park, is far removed from the bustling paths and manicured lawns that most visitors know. Towering trees crowd the winding trails, their branches interlacing to form dense canopies that filter sunlight into fractured patterns on the forest floor. Here, the sounds of the city fade into a distant hum, replaced by the whisper of leaves, the chirping of birds, and, for some, something far less ordinary. The North Woods is renowned not only for its natural beauty, but also for the eerie sense of unease that has long captured the imagination of hikers, joggers, and park visitors. Many speak of experiences that cannot be easily explained, leading to the legend of the restless souls of the North Woods. Visitors to this part of the park often describe an unsettling feeling, that begins as a faint awareness, a prickling at the back of the neck, or the sense that eyes are watching from just beyond the trees. Some report hearing whispers carried on the wind, words indistinct but urgent, as though spirits are speaking across the centuries. Others have recounted the sound of footsteps following their own, quickening when they pause and slowing when they pick up the pace. Even in the broad daylight, the North Woods can feel suffused with tension, the serenity of the forest pierced by an invisible presence that refuses to be ignored. The origin of the hauntings is often traced to Seneca Village, a predominantly African-American community that once thrived on the land where the North Woods now stands. Established in the early 19th century, the village was a vibrant neighborhood with homes, churches, schools, and farms. Its residents cultivated a sense of community and stability in an era rife with social challenges. However, when Central Park was planned and constructed in the 1850s, Seneca Village was forcibly displaced. Homes were demolished, families uprooted, and the land transformed into the park's scenic landscape. Some believe that the trauma of this displacement left an imprint on the land, creating a lingering spiritual presence. Hikers and naturalists frequently share stories of unusual encounters in the North Woods. Some describe sudden drops in temperature, a coldness that seems to come from nowhere, often accompanied by the rustle of leaves when there is no breeze. Others recount seeing shadowy figures darting between the trees, just at the edge of perception, vanishing when approached. These experiences are fleeting yet vivid, leaving witnesses with a sense of having glimpsed something beyond the realm of the living. Occasionally, photographers or wildlife enthusiasts capture inexplicable images, blurs, or faint humanoid shapes that cannot be accounted for by light, camera movement, or foliage. One of the most commonly reported phenomena involves the sensation of being followed. Visitors frequently describe the feeling of footsteps echoing behind them, yet when they stop or turn, no one is there. Some hikers report hearing soft murmurs or distant laughter, fleeting and impossible to locate. A few have even felt a gentle touch on their shoulders or a tug at clothing, subtle enough not to cause panic but powerful enough to unsettle. These experiences often lead to a mix of fear and awe, an awareness that the North Woods is a place where the ordinary rules of perception may not fully apply. The area's winding trails and dense undergrowth contribute to the unnerving atmosphere. Paths twist unpredictably, making it easy to lose one's bearings, while shadows stretch and warp beneath the trees. Even the sounds of nature, birdsong, running water, rustling branches stake on a strange resonance in the silence between them. In these moments, the forest feels alive in an uncanny way, as if it is aware of each step, each breath, and each passing visitor. The restless spirits are said to inhabit both the physical and emotional space of the North Woods, creating an environment where history, memory, and the supernatural converge. Local historians and paranormal enthusiasts often suggest that the lingering presence is tied not only to the tragedy of displacement, but also to the lives that were lived there. The children who once played in the village, the families who tilled the land, and the residents who celebrated births, marriages, and holidays all are said to have left impressions on the earth itself. When hikers walk these trails, some theorize they are not merely observing nature but crossing through layers of memory where the past has not fully relinquished its hold. There are accounts of more specific encounters. Some hikers have claimed to see apparitions dressed in 19th century attire, figures that appear briefly among the trees before dissolving like mist. Others report hearing the toll of a bell or faint church music, echoing from nowhere and everywhere at once. On rare occasions, individuals describe a fleeting glimpse of a child's face peering out from behind a tree or the suggestion of a gathering in a long-abandoned clearing. These sightings are sporadic but consistent enough to foster the belief that the North Woods is a place haunted not by malevolent forces, but by the persistent echoes of human life, memory, and loss. Despite, or perhaps because of its eerie reputation, the North Woods continues to draw visitors seeking solitude, natural beauty, and the thrill of the unknown. Some come hoping for a brush with the supernatural, while others are drawn purely by the forest's scenic charm. Almost all however, leave with a sense of respect for the space. An awareness that beneath the canopy of trees lies a deeper, often unseen history. The legend of the restless souls of the North Woods serves as a reminder that Central Park is more than a recreational space. It is a landscape layered with memory, loss, and enduring presence. The whispers, footsteps, and shadowy figures reported by countless visitors are more than ghost stories. They are echoes of lives once lived. Reminders that history can linger in the most unexpected places. In the quiet corners of the North Woods, the spirits of Seneca Village and others who came before remained, watching, wandering, and waiting, their presence quietly woven into the forest's fabric. The Bow Bridge, one of Central Park's most iconic landmarks, stretches gracefully across the calm waters of the lake, its delicate arches reflected in the surface below. During the day, it is a favorite destination for couples, photographers, and tourists alike. Lovers stroll hand in hand, pausing to take in the sweeping views of the park, the city skyline, and the ever-changing reflections in the water. Yet as evening falls and the crowds thin, a different story emerges, a tale of vanished figures, lingering spirits, and the tragic romance of the vanishing lovers of the Bow Bridge. The phenomenon has been reported for decades, spanning generations of visitors and residents. Witnesses often describe walking across the bridge in the quiet of early morning or late evening, when the light is soft and the air carries a chill. From the corner of the eye, they notice couples appearing seemingly out of nowhere, two figures dressed in clothing from bygone eras, walking slowly and intimately, their hands intertwined. At first, these figures blend naturally into the park's romantic scenery. But when approached or observed directly, they vanish without a trace. Descriptions of the apparitions are remarkably consistent. The couples are often said to wear clothing from the late 19th or early 20th centuries. Women appear in long flowing dresses, sometimes with delicate lace or high collars, their hair styled in period fashion. Men are seen in tailored suits, hats, or waistcoats, walking with careful, deliberate steps. Witnesses describe a feeling of intense emotion surrounding the figures, an aura of tenderness, longing, and sorrow that hangs in the air, palpable even from a distance. Some report a faint scent of flowers or perfume lingering where the apparitions were last seen, as though the air itself carries a memory of romance. Theories regarding the origin of the vanishing lovers are numerous and haunting. Some suggest they were real couples who met tragic ends, victims of accidents or untimely illness, forever trapped in a spectral loop, reenacting their final moments together. Others speculate that the spirits belong to lovers who were forbidden to be together, their devotion and heartbreak binding them to the bridge for eternity. A few accounts suggest that the spirits are drawn to the bridge itself, an eternal symbol of connection and unity, where love and tragedy converge. Those who encounter the vanishing lovers often describe the experience as surreal and bittersweet. Witnesses sometimes hear the faint murmur of conversation, the soft rustle of clothing, or the distant sound of laughter carried across the water. The couple seem unaware of the living observers nearby, absorbed entirely in one another. Some have reported moments where the figures pause and look out over the lake, as if reflecting on a shared memory, before turning their attention back to each other. It is only when someone attempts to engage them, directly taking a step closer, calling out, or reaching for a hand, that the apparitions dissolve into the evening mist. The bridge itself seems to hold a mystical quality that amplifies these encounters. Its elegant Castian arches and wooden walkway create patterns of light and shadow that can make figures appear and disappear unexpectedly. Reflections in the water add to the illusion, creating doubled images that blur the line between reality and the supernatural. On foggy mornings, or under the soft glow of dusk, the environment becomes charged with a quiet, almost reverent energy, perfect for the unfolding of these ghostly moments. Many locals and paranormal enthusiasts have shared stories of repeated sightings. One woman recounted walking across the bridge just before sunrise, noticing a couple strolling ahead. She described feeling a sudden chill and an overwhelming sense of sorrow. As she quickened her pace to pass them, the figures simply vanished, leaving behind only the soft ripple of the water. Another account tells of a man photographing the bridge at twilight. In his images, two indistinct figures appear holding hands, but when he returned to the spot in person, the bridge was empty. Photographs, journals, and eyewitness accounts together have cemented the Bow Bridge as one of Central Park's most haunted locations. While the vanishing lovers are largely harmless, the experiences are profound and sometimes unsettling. Witnesses often leave the bridge with a heightened awareness of the past, a sense of the ephemeral nature of life and love, and a lingering curiosity about the stories behind the figures. The apparitions evoke both beauty and melancholia, poignant reminder that love, even lost or forbidden, can leave an indelible mark on a place. Romantic and tragic. The legend of the vanishing lovers also serves as a testament to the enduring power of emotion. Across decades, through changes in fashion, culture, and the park itself, the apparitions seem to have remained constant. They embody the timeless human experiences of love, longing, and heartbreak. And their presence on the Bow Bridge creates a liminal space where the living can catch a fleeting glimpse of history preserved in spectral form. Some speculate that the spirits are drawn not only to the bridge, but also to the water beneath it. The lake mirrors the world above, blurring the boundaries between reality and reflection. The couples are said to pause and gaze into the rippling surface, as if searching for something lost or contemplating a shared memory. The reflections add to the haunting beauty of the sightings, creating an ethereal atmosphere in which the lines between the past and present dissolve. In the quiet hours of the morning or late evening, the Bow Bridge becomes more than a scenic landmark. It transforms into a stage where the vanishing lovers enact a timeless story, forever walking hand in hand, forever bound to each other, and forever intertwined with the fabric of Central Park. Those who cross the bridge during these moments may feel the lingering emotions of these spirits, the sorrow, devotion, and undying love that refuses to fade. And while the figures may vanish when approached, their presence is never truly gone. They remain woven into the history and heart of the bridge, a silent, ghostly testament to love and loss. Strawberry Fields, nestled along the western edge of Central Park, is one of New York City's most serene and reflective spaces. Designed as a living memorial to John Lennon, it attracts visitors from across the world, offering a place for contemplation, remembrance, and quiet connection to the legendary musician's life and legacy. Mosaic tiles spell out the word imagine, a tribute to Lennon's timeless song and a reminder of the ideals he championed. By day, the area hums with soft conversation, the distant sounds of the city, and the occasional strumming of a guitar by a wandering musician. But for some, especially those who linger when the park is quiet, Strawberry Fields holds a deeper, more mysterious presence that manifests in sound and music that seems to appear from nowhere, and in moments that feel touched by something beyond the ordinary. Visitors to Strawberry Fields have long reported hearing faint music drifting across the plaza. The melodies are most often described as Beatles songs, familiar and comforting, yet there is rarely anyone nearby playing an instrument or singing. Some hear Imagine, its soft piano notes filling the air. Others recall the gentle chords of Hey Jude or Let It Be. The music is always faint, almost ethereal, as if carried on the wind rather than originating from a physical source. Those who experience it often pause, struck by a mixture of awe and unease, wondering if they are imagining the sounds or if something more profound is at work. One of the most frequently reported sensations is the sense of being accompanied by an unseen presence. Visitors walking the paths near the memorial, particularly during early mornings or late evenings when the crowds have thinned, sometimes feel a subtle shift in the air, a quiet energy that is difficult to describe. The music seems to emanate from nowhere and everywhere at once, soft yet clear, enveloping the listener in a moment that feels both intimate and expansive. Some have described the effect as almost cinematic, as though time itself has slowed and the park has become a stage for a private encounter with history and spirit. Eyewitness accounts suggest that the phenomenon is not purely auditory. A few visitors claim to sense a faint movement near the edges of the plaza, a shimmer in the air, or a presence just beyond their peripheral vision. The effect is subtle, not frightening, but impossible to ignore. Many feel as though John Lennon's spirit is nearby, offering a gentle blessing to those who seek solace, inspiration, or a connection to the music and ideals he left behind. Others believe the music represents a lingering energy of creativity, a sonic imprint of Lennon's artistry that continues to resonate in the very soil and stone of Strawberry Fields. The first reports of the mysterious music appeared shortly after the memorial's dedication in 1985, though some locals claim that even before the formal creation of Strawberry Fields, the area had a peculiar energy, a sense of quiet reverence. Since the dedication, musicians, fans, and tourists alike have occasionally stopped in their tracks, reporting the same strange occurrences: faint music, inexplicable harmonies, and an odd sense of calm or emotional release. Those who hear the music often describe a heightened awareness, a feeling of intimacy with the space and with the memory of Lennon himself. Some who have spent extended periods at Strawberry Fields report more detailed experiences. One visitor recounted sitting on a bench late in the evening, listening to the wind rustle through the nearby trees, when suddenly the soft notes of a piano filled the air. The melody was unmistakably imagined, yet there was no instrument in sight. The music seemed to ebb and flow with the wind, growing slightly louder as the listener focused on it, then fading as if retreating into the surroundings. The visitor felt a profound sense of peace and left the memorial with a new appreciation for Lennon's work and his lasting presence. Others describe hearing music during particularly quiet moments when the city seems far away, the sounds of traffic and conversation fading into the background. In these cases, the music appears almost on cue, as though responding to the emotional state of the listener. Some claim that their memories of Lennon, the Beatles, or even their personal experiences with music and loss are somehow intertwined with the melodies, making each encounter uniquely personal. The phenomenon leaves a lasting impression, encouraging reflection and contemplation long after leaving the memorial. Photographers and videographers have attempted to capture the mysterious sounds, but recordings rarely reveal the music in the way it is experienced live. This has only added to the sense of mystery, suggesting that the phenomenon is not entirely physical, but instead a subtle, ephemeral resonance, experienced only by those present. Fans and believers have come to regard the music as a spiritual gift, a reminder that Lennon's influence persists, not just in recorded songs, but in the very atmosphere of the park itself. While skeptics attribute the sounds to acoustics, passing musicians, or imagination, countless personal testimonies continue to uphold the legend. For many, the experience is transformative, evoking memories of Lennon's life, the cultural shifts he inspired, and the enduring power of music to connect the living to those who have passed. The music seems to honor not only Lennon's memory, but the ideals he championed: peace, love, and the pursuit of creativity. Strawberry Fields, already a place of contemplation, becomes, in these moments, a portal of subtle wonder. The faint strains of Beatles songs serve as both a tribute and a connection, a reminder that though Lennon left the world too soon, his spirit continues to linger, sharing his music with anyone open to listen. The area is no longer just a memorial. It is a living space where memory, artistry, and the inexplicable intersect, and where those who pause and listen may hear the soft echo of a voice that changed the world. As we conclude our journey through the haunted tales of Central Park, we are reminded that even the most serene places can harbor dark secrets. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, the stories of restless spirits and unexplained phenomena add a layer of mystery to this iconic park. So, the next time you stroll through its winding paths or sit by its tranquil waters, remember, you might not be alone. Thank you for joining us on this eerie adventure. Until next time, keep your senses sharp and your mind open, for the world is full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered.